coaching staff wants to put that weight on either one of these quarterbacks, so they'd like to get their running game going early.
So the idea is to take the pressure off these youngsters. Bobo had an outstanding first game last week against South Carolina, and particularly in the second half when this offense really came alive. But as Mike mentioned, that was a very friendly and neighborly crowd that he had of 85,000 down in Athens. I'm afraid there are a few more hostile folks among these 96,000 on the banks of the Tennessee River tonight here in Knoxville. Juan Daniels, number 12. Bryce Hunter also joins him as one of the deep safeties. And Jeff Hall will pick it off. Georgia, Tennessee, 1995 is underway. Into the end zone, so it gives us an opportunity. Let's do the Russell Athletic starting lineups for Georgia on offense. Robert Edwards, he was a defensive back this time last year, but he scored 5 touchdowns against South Carolina. They think they'll let him stick around for another week. Wide receivers, Bryce Hunter. He'll go anywhere to catch it. And on the offensive line, there are 3 5-year players on this O-line. Paul Taylor graded out the best last week. First carry goes for 3, 4, and almost 5. And here are the starters on defense for Tennessee. The man to watch, number 1, Leonard Little. He's a junior college transfer. He has great speed. He was a linebacker, but they're using him at defensive end. Speaking to the linebackers, Tyrone Hines, he was suspended last week. He's back now, a preseason All-SEC selection. And in the secondary, an improved area, Raymond Austin, big play guy, last week had 9 tackles in their opener. Edwards has the speed to turn the corner. As you see, Little will knock him out of bounds, but Mike, he has the first down. And there is the difference. He does have the speed to turn the corner.
The 2 things I've noticed right off the bat, Georgia is opening up with some real big line splits by their offensive line. And the ball's being given to Robert Edwards very deep in the backfield. He did a nice job of cutting that one all the way back against the grain.
That's good for 11 yards and the initial first down for the Georgia Bulldogs. First pass by Bobo. Out in the flat, has it complete. That's Marseille Simpson, and he will take it almost to the 50-yard line. They'll spot him down at the 49 as Terry Fair comes over to make the hit on him.
Look at these offensive line splits by Georgia. They're trying to set up. Look at the splits here between the guards and the center and the guards and the tackle. And that's to open up the line a little bit to make that defense wide enough to give Robert Edwards some running area.
Mike, get it on your mind, because after the next play, I want to ask you, what does Tennessee do to counter that? We'll get to that after the snap. Bobo sprints out to the right, delivers his pass complete, and that's good for another Georgia first down as Matt Dixon is on the receiving end and Gaines and Jenkins on the tackle.
Good question, Ron. What you have to do is you have to take the splits sometimes. You can't always move out with them. You get line charges where you take the gaps or you send the linebacker through one of those gaps. Make them tighten up those splits a little bit.
Selma Callaway, number 32. He's a sophomore running back. Comes in replacing Marseille Simpson. Quick count again. Edwards will take it for a couple up the middle, and let's go down to the sideline and check in with Mike Adamle. Mike.
Well, obviously, Ron, with those 5 touchdowns, the way he started tonight so far, Robert Edwards has all the necessary ingredients to be a great running back. You start with vision, peripheral vision. A lot of his yardage last week against South Carolina came on cutback runs. He's also got speed. He's a legit 4.40 guy in the 40. He's in the open field. He can run away from people. If he has a shortcoming, it's last week he got a little careless with the football against South Carolina, and you talked about those turnovers and how important they can be.
Juan Daniels over the middle, and right now they're running just enough to keep Tennessee honest, and the passing game is going great guns.
This is a very nicely designed drive by Georgia. Greg Davis, the quarterback coach, is able to trying to keep Tennessee off balance a little bit. Good mix between the run and the pass to Juan Daniels.
So they move the chains again. First down at the 22 of the Volunteers. We'll go with Edwards. Good block up the middle. Has 5, has 10. Headed off at about 13 yards for Edwards as Leonard Little will make the stop along with Raymond Austin. But Robert Edwards, the junior from Tennille, is ripping apart the Tennessee defense.
Robert Edwards is going to start to the right and cut back. He gets a real nice block out of the left guard, Paul Taylor, number 52. Again, those big line splits opening up some good holes for Robert Edwards here early in the ball game.
It's a 1st and goal. Edwards again. Off the left side. He will score. And the Georgia Bulldogs only need 3 minutes to put it in the end zone.
When we were at the hotel last night at the University of Georgia, you felt a confidence that the players had and the coaching staff had. And that is permeated here in this ballgame. They had a nice first drive.
Cannon Parkman knocks home the extra point. 12 minutes, 4 seconds left to play in this opening quarter. And Georgia has stormed down the field to a 7-0 lead. We'll be right back.
I got it.
Tap the Rockies, Coors Light. Tap the Rockies, Coors Light. Hey! Coors Light, the silver bullet. It's shipped cold to tap the clean taste of the Rockies. Tap the Rockies, Coors Light.
Hey, this feels nice.
Who's pulling on my shirt?
It's me, Johnson, fool. Is this Russell Athletic?
Sure, feel like cover stitching.
Must be their new blend fabric. Yeah, it's tough, strong.
And no little fuzzballs.
By the way, anybody got the ball?
I think I got it.
That's not the ball.
Oh, sorry.
Looking for really tough athletic wear? Get Russell Athletic. Get tough.
We're proud to announce that lease terms on the 1995 Trooper are not only the lowest they've been all year, but at $299 a month and 0 down, they're really something to think about. Like, how do you actually put 0 down? And if you put 0 down, how does anyone know you really put it down? And if you wash your pants with 0 down in the pocket, will you find it later in the dryer? It's a paradox inside of a riddle wrapped in an enigma.
Horned Frogs are coming off their best season in years. Next Thursday, they'll go to Lawrence to take on the Kansas Jayhawks. TCU versus Kansas. Thursday night CFA at 8 on ESPN.
7-0, Georgia. Mike, are you surprised with the ease that Georgia took that ball and went right down the field?
Well, I think you have to, but when you look last week, Bill Lewis, former Georgia Tech coach, is here tonight, and he said East Carolina averaged 10 plays a drive last week against this defense. So they moved the ball also.
Nilo Silva 5 yards deep, and he'll go down on one knee. So let's check the starters for the Tennessee Volunteers tonight on offense. Jay Graham, he got his first start last week, and he set a record in doing so, 144 yards. The receivers, this is a good group. Nilo Silva, who you just saw, very talented receiver and return man. With the offensive line could be as good as any they've had here. Jason Lehman is the bluest of those blue chips up front. But some pro scouts have said there may be as many as 4 kids on this offensive line that wind up playing on Sunday. Manning, play action, slip screen. Silva, and he's going to take it for an 11-yard gain. And here are the folks that will try to stop him tonight in the Georgia defense. Travis Stroud, very active and strong at that nose guard position, but they will sub a lot up front. Linebackers, well, it's led by Zeus. Randall Godfrey, lighter but much stronger this year. And in the secondary, Torrey Jackson. He's the quarterback and the hitter back there. This could be a problem area, though, for Georgia, and one of the areas that they want to keep a close eye on.
I feel like they're going to be good in the secondary, but they're young.
Dumps it over the middle. Nash takes it out close to the 40-yard line. He's going to be short of the first down by about a half yard.
Ron, I've always said, and you've heard me say this almost every week, good teams want to answer a score. They don't want to wait. They want to, when they get the ball, they want to answer the score with points of their own. Peyton Manning, the young quarterback of Tennessee, coaches are telling me he studies the game more than any player they've ever had.
Well, he's an outstanding youngster, but this is a fired-up group. This guy right here, particularly Gottfried, wants to stop him tonight. Fired-up group of Georgia Bulldogs. Manning going to go on top. Got a man complete at the 16, Joey Kent.
You watch this play now, you're going to see a one-receiver route. Nobody else is in the route. It's a play-action fake with just one receiver. They're going to get good protection. Everybody else is blocking. You got one man on a route on the post. You're going for the home run. Joey Kent with a great catch against Buster Owens.
That's 45 yards. And then they come back with a running play for a couple of yards. Whit Marshall makes the hit on Jay Graham.
We talked to Peyton Manning yesterday, and one of the things he told me, I said, the coaches say you study film more than anybody else. And he said, Chuck, no. He's quoting pro coaches. He said, he always said, pressure's what you feel when you don't know what you're doing. He said, I'm going to know what I'm doing. My dad's taught me work ethic and studying films.
Second down line to make is the 6. Graham with a head of steam. Stroud trips him up. He's inside the 10-yard line. It's going to be Tennessee with a third down, and they'll need a couple. That was Chester Ford out front blocking. Mike, the other thing that has helped young Manning so very much in the summertime is that he told me on Thursday after practice that he spends time with 3 defensive backs that are playing in the NFL and a couple of wide receivers, Clarence Verdun and Floyd Turner, who lived down in New Orleans, and every morning at 8 o'clock at Tulane, he's the quarterback.
It has to help, just practicing with those players.
Here comes the blitz. Manning avoids it. He's going to run. At the 5, he will score. Well, as you can see, the youngster will not be on the U.S. 400-meter relay team, but he's growing so fast. I think the speed will come in the next 2 years for him, but he's fast enough to get out of harm's way.
He caught him in a blitz, and on the blitz, he made him pay with the scrambling touchdown.
Jeff Hall with the extra point.
Good teams answer scores. Tennessee's a good football team. You're going to see both inside linebackers blitz. Now there's no one on the quarterback on the blitz. Peyton Manning into the corner of the end zone for the touchdown.
It was Bright who forced him out of the pocket, and he had plenty of mobility to get by him, and then it was a case of just scamper as quickly as possible into the corner of the end zone. He had a touchdown in last week's game as well.
He did, and when you blitz someone, you cannot lose control and contain, and Georgia lost contain. I'm sure Joe Kynes, the defensive coordinator, will get the chalkboard out and say, when we blitz, we cannot let the quarterback outside, force him inside.
You know, Mike, at this juncture, after these 2 offensive series, I think we need to pay tribute to both offensive lines because both have been outstanding in the first 6 minutes of this ballgame.
And Tennessee's the most well-known of the offensive line, so I'm sure Georgia's Mac McWhorter has used that this week and said, hey, they think they're a good offensive line. Let's show them we're a good one. You always try to get the challenge out there for your different groups.
Peyton Manning on the phone. I'm sure talking with David Cutcliffe, the offensive coordinator, upstairs here in the press box. Bryce Hunter and Juan Daniels back at a dual safety. Jeff Hall again. 8 yards deep. He will not return it. And let's check in with Mike Tirico. How are you this evening, sir?
Doing fine, Ron. 1st and 10 for Purdue. At the Notre Dame 13, Rick Trefster to Craig Allen. Couldn't hang on. They took a couple more shots at the end zone. 4th down. They needed to get to the 3 for a first down. Edwin Watson ends up about 2.5 yards short. Notre Dame will get the win. They host Vandy next week.
Okay, Mike, thanks very much. We got a situation down here in Tennessee that 2 scoring drives tied at 7. Both were 8-yard runs. Both were 80-yard drives, and both took 2:56 to score. Edwards opens it big. He's got one man to beat, and he will be caught and tackled at the 15-yard line. It's Deron Jenkins who finally brings him down.
Ron, I was watching the sidelines. Ray Goff was running behind him. He couldn't go step for step with Robert Edwards, but he was behind him. But Ray Goff is the man that made the decision to move Robert Edwards from corner. Here's the speed of Robert Edwards getting in the secondary. Deron Jenkins, a good angle, made the tackle.
Well, Robert Edwards made the switch the last week of spring training. And he said, Coach called him into his office, and he said, it scared me. I thought I'd done something wrong. And he said, we're going to change it from defensive back to running back. 65 yards on that run. Marseille Simpson will take it for a couple down around the 13-yard line, and Bill Duff comes up from defensive tackle to make the hit on him.
Head coaches have to make those kind of decisions because he was going to be a great defensive back, but Ray, as you said, called him in and switched him. They only had 4 days left in spring practice. The second day was at running back. They actually told him the plays. They said, this is going to be an ISO right. He gained 200 yards in a scrimmage. They knew they had something special.
Look at this, Mike. He's got over 100 yards already. We got 8:05 to play opening quarter. Troy Percy is checked into the backfield, number 20. He gets the handoff. He gets banged hard, but his offensive line to help him with a push. He'll go just inside the 10. And let's check in with Mike Adamle again.
Well, Ron, the other thing about Robert Edwards, he was the last player signed in Georgia's 1993 recruiting class. Ray Goff, who also coached Tim Worley, Herschel Walker, Garrison Hurst, and Nate Lewis, says that Robert's speed, 4.4 in the 40, is the equal of people like Herschel Walker's. And matter of fact, his teammates have taken to calling Robert this week Hirsch and Walk. So, indeed, high praise for this young man.
Hines Ward comes into the backfield. They use him as a receiver many times. Pass in the flat, though. Simpson right through his hand. I don't know if that was deflected or not, Mike Godfrey, but it looked as though it was right there.
George Kidd either got a hand on it or he distracted the receiver because he was able to get his hands up in the air.
So Cannon Parkman will come on to attempt this field goal. They'll place it down at the 16, and it will be a 26-yard attempt trying to put Georgia on top, 10-7. No problem for him. So let's take a break. The Georgia Bulldogs touched the football twice, and in the first 8 minutes, they have scored a field goal and a touchdown. Right back.
More paste, thick, and chunky salsa. Here. This ain't paste, thick, and chunky salsa.
So, Pace has got big chunks of tomatoes, onions, and peppers. Perfect for dipping.
And it's made in San Antonio. Well, folks who know what salsas taste like.
This stuff's made in New York City.
New York City? Pick up the thick and chunky one. Pick up the Pace.
Animal.
We're proud to announce that lease terms on the 1995 Trooper are not only the lowest they've been all year, but at $299 a month and 0 down, they're really something to think about. Like, how do you actually put 0 down? And if you put 0 down, how does anyone know you really put it down? And if you wash your pants with 0 down in the pocket, will you find it later in the dryer? It's a paradox inside of a riddle wrapped in an enigma.
Wrangler jeans have always been worn by cowboys. But nowadays, even horses wear them. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
Wrangler, the perfect jean for your 10-year-old son. And your 10-year-old husband. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
ESPN's presentation of CFA Primetime is brought to you by Coors Light. Play timeout for Coors Light in tonight's game for a chance to win great prizes. And by Isuzu, makers of incredible four-wheel drives. That was the Tennessee touchdown that occurred just a few moments ago. The Georgians come right back down the field, aided by a 65-yard run. And they have kicked the field goal as Edwards set up the situation at 10-7. That's how we stand. Nilo Sylvan, he'll get a chance to return it. 1-6. Shows you why he's one of the best in the nation. Reggie Smith on the tackle. It's a 25-yard return. Tennessee with a running play. Graham takes it out over the 45 to the 46. Corey Johnson on the stop, and that's going to be a 16-yard run.
Ron, you like to give credit to offensive lineman Bubba Miller, the big center, the captain of this football team, 6'1", 285, with a big block on that play.
He told me on Thursday his mom's not going to be here tonight. He said, tell her hi if you can. Bubba's one of the low-key guys. He doesn't give himself a lot of credit. He thinks that Jason Lehman and Ratliff and Jeff Smith have more athletic ability than he does. But the coaches say he's stretching that a little bit, but he works very, very hard. There's a quick screen again. Marcus Nash, and it is another first down. We're going to have statisticians getting writer's cramp up here.
Another nice block by Nilo Sylvan. You're looking for receivers that block. Look on the outside here. Number 83, Nilo Sylvan, just reaches up, throws the football out. There's the block by number 83, Nilo Sylvan. Marcus Nash with the gain. Well, you're talking about statisticians, defensive coordinators, headaches too.
Oh, he just reached for some more of those extra strength pills. Got it complete at the 30. That's Nilo Sylvan. Looks for a block, and he's going to be corralled by Corey Johnson. But it is another, I think this is going to be a 17-yard gain by Tennessee. And these two quarterbacks are just having unbelievable opening quarters.
Tennessee's spreading them out. They bring in a tight end to give them some protection. They've got nice protection for Peyton Manning here. They're not even getting close to him. He's set up. Good protection by that offensive line. Now here's the gun. Peyton Manning has been real impressive here. Nilo Sylvan with just a curl route. He makes you miss after he makes the catch.
Under 6 minutes remaining opening quarter. Graham cuts it back, breaks off the tackle. That's terrific balance, and he's going to wind up at the 18. Corey Johnson again has to come up and make that hit. And David Horn, the tight end, with an outstanding block.
You talked about David Horn, the tight end, and what Tennessee's trying to do is spread out this Georgia defense. And David Horn, the tight end, is going to come back and trap right here. There's the trap block, opens it up for Jay Graham.
Short drop, quick pass. Loses the ball. It has been picked up by Armin Love of Georgia. Now what Armin is doing could be a flag, but none of the officials seem. He's running out with his hands in the air, signaling to the crowd, I did it.
Still an impressive drive by Tennessee. Peyton Manning just raising up, throwing the quick hitch to Maurice Staley. Now he's trying to get extra yardage. He's got that football out like a loaf of bread. He loses it. Georgia with the recovery. Mike Bobo and Robert Edwards back on the field for the Georgia offense.
The way this game's going, Mike, this is almost like a break and serve. Kind of in motion. wants to throw in that direction and has it complete at the 24. Juan Daniels is the man who makes the reception. And we talked about turnovers, that the number that Georgia has had. Staley with the first turnover of the night, and that was for sure a scoring drive, at least 3 points.
And talking to Mike Bobo, the quarterback of Georgia, he said he learned so much from Eric Zier, last year's Georgia quarterback. He said, I learned how to compete every day in practice because Eric Zier would compete.
With a handoff. Some of the crowd thought that Selma Callaway moved too quickly, but he went back in a stance.
Yeah, he was able to get back set. But last week in the game against South Carolina, Georgia did not run their fullback. The fullback was a blocker. And when you run an I offense, the linebackers are going to key the fullback because he'll take you most of the time, 90-some high percentage. He's going to take you to the football.
McCraney in motion. Edwards on the running play, and Little has him, and that's one of the few times tonight that he has been hit and stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Leonard Little can make big plays for you. Number one, he signed with Tennessee over Clemson out of high school. He was a half an academic point short, Ron. He was here for 12 days, and they said, you got to leave. You can't come to school here. He said he felt like someone drove a stake in his heart. He wanted to go to Tennessee. He had to go to junior college at Coffeyville, Kansas. Played 1 year out there, and he said, I never doubted I was coming back to Tennessee because I wanted my mom to see me play.
As the measurement goes on here, this is Billy Barron who is down, and trainer Mike Rollo has come out to check him over. As you see, the chain stretched out shows it's a first down. The Tennessee crowd thought they got a favorable spot. So let's take a timeout with the injury. 3:32 left in this opening quarter. Georgia by 3.
Maybe you shouldn't watch this.
All right, man, get off me. Y'all been nosy now.
But if you're not afraid, call this number now to get into pro football's private world with this exclusive new video, Total Access 95. Plus, you'll also catch this super Spalding football, both free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. With Total Access, you go wherever you want.
Going into every room with a camera.
You'll hear things you shouldn't.
This movie is rated R.
No, you're wrong.
Adult language. Gosh dang it.
Doggone it.
You'll know when things go wrong.
We need another receiver. Oh, boy. But that ain't my fault, Coach. Oh, man.
You'll have Total Access and a regulation-sized football. Free when you order 54 issues for only $1.47 an issue. Save over 50% off the cover price. Use your credit card. Call now to get Total Access and your Spalding football both free from SI. There is nothing in the world like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
ESPN College Game Day here with an up-close look at the life of a college football player. Today we're with Lester at the bookstore.
Hey, got to keep hitting the books, right? Less than 1% of all college football players have a chance at the pros, so...
Well, not that Lester won't make it, of course.
No, I mean, obviously right. I mean, Lester, who wouldn't want to draft Lester? You know, that World League really is up and coming.
Yeah, how about those Barcelona Dragons? Wow.
Are you taking Spanish this term, Lester?
Georgia 10 and Tennessee 7.
Ready?
The Buffs are off and running. Detmer and Troutman lead Colorado against Colorado State. A battle for Rocky Mountain supremacy tonight, right after our game. Fun game up in the state of Colorado tonight. That should be fun. Mike, listen to these numbers already. Georgia 161 yards on offense. Tennessee 146. For over 300 first quarter yards.
Defensive coordinator's nightmare.
Bobo drills it. Should have been caught by Bryce Hunter, and he dropped it. This has been our story in the ball game so far, and it's Robert Edwards in his rushing.
Had the big gain to the left, 65 yards, but he has been impressive on the cutbacks in the first quarter.
Pitch to Edwards, and you can see the blitz coming from the defensive secondary, and he's going to be dropped for a loss. Actually, the middle linebacker, Tyrone Hines. And Mike Tirico, let's check back with you.
Ron, this McDonald's breakaway takes us to the Plains. Auburn, Alabama. Auburn's playing Tennessee, Chattanooga. Patrick Nix to Tyrone Goodson, breaks free a 46-yard play. Sets up a Stephen Davis score. The Tigers lead 7-0.
Okay, so a scrimmage for Auburn tonight, 7-0 early. Third down. The shovel pass. That's Edwards. Cuts it back into the middle. Boy, he really has outstanding balance as he'll get it to the 30-yard line, and it's Little who's there to make the tackle. And I believe it's 3 tackles he's made.
That was Marseille Simpson, Ron, on the run there. Leonard Little brought him, they shoveled it to him.
There is Edwards on the sideline as he was shaken up. 43, Marseille Simpson on the carry.
Looks like 47.
No, it is 47.
47, that is Edwards.
Yeah, who's telling me it's Marseille Simpson downstairs? Nino Sylvan is back deep. Larry Brown collars him with a head-high tackle. 47 yards in the kick and 10 on the return. So Edwards undoubtedly got rung up on that last play. Almost looked as though that maybe if he had kept it to the outside instead of cutting back to the middle, that
had a better chance.
Yeah. 1:49 left opening quarter. Georgia 10-7. Philip Benton will grab him to the ankle and make the stop on Chester Ford, making a good block on the play for Graham.
When you have a great player on defense, the offensive coordinator for the other team has to try to find a way to remove him. This is Randall Gottfried. Because they're running with 3 wide receivers now, Georgia has to move Randall Gottfried out. When they move him out, Tennessee runs away from him. They know he's a great player, number 42, Randall Gottfried. They want to get him out of there.
Graham with the little stutter step, and you can see he was hit by Ferguson and also Whit Marshall, number 36. Gottfried came over to help out.
Jason Ferguson's a junior college transfer, arrived there in fall. Joe Kynes said he's really made some great improvement. Big guy, 6'5", 300 pounds.
So the situation, third down, less than a yard for the Volunteers. Under a minute to play, opening quarter. Graham with the hurdle, and they choose to go behind Lehman, Peterson, and Bubba Miller. Randall Gottfried's down on the bottom of that mass of humanity.
That's not a bad choice. 6'6", 286. Lehman, 6'3", 270. Peterson. Randall Gottfried with good penetration, making the hit on Jay Graham.
A rushing offense leading the SEC both in 93 and 94. Got a man in a streak route, just overthrown Joey Kent. And that's a very difficult pass to throw. Got to be perfect.
It is, and but the impressive thing to me is tonight so far that Peyton Manning's making every read right. You're talking about a young quarterback's only a sophomore, and they have so many weapons, Ron, that they can run the football, that big offensive line. And you look at his pass chart, everything under 15 yards he's hit. He hit that big post down the middle, one-on-one. Just missed that one on the outside, but he's been near perfect.
That's his first miss.
Near perfect.
Swings this one out. Has his tight end, David Horn. Horn gets blasted at the 50-yard line. It's going to be third down and 5. Alunda Sims, he's a transfer from Marshall, is the defensive back who makes the hit.
Good ball fake by Peyton Manning. That holds the linebackers. Dumps the ball out to his tight end, Horn.
Well, that's the end of the first quarter with our score. Georgia 10 and Tennessee 7.
We're out of here. No, please keep your hands in the cart. We'll come back for that later. That one needs batteries. You're gonna get Daddy in trouble. Excuse me? No, that one definitely has too many parts. We gotta go.
Right now, we're offering some of the best prices of the year on our 1995 rodeos.
A lot of what I do goes on behind the scenes. You know, most people aren't exactly on a first-name basis with their State Farm claim representative. They know their agent, but they probably don't know that their agent has a partner, that we're a team, that we've worked on hundreds of claims together. But people take notice when a claim is handled promptly, and you won't get too many complaints if you just treat them fair, because that's when people appreciate what we do and who they're insured with.
In 1970, Elton's very first song went gold. Then, Rocket Man went gold. Then, 103 of his other songs went gold. And now that he's touring with 38 musicians and a small army of stagehands...
And how will you be paying?
Elton's gone gold.
Money? These are gold. Oh, we'll need 371 wake-up calls.
After all, nothing's got the power of gold.
We'll take care. Can I help you?
Yeah, Coors Light, please.
In the Colorado Rocky Mountain High, I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. Shadow from starlight, softer than a lullaby. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado.
Robert Edwards shaken up. They put some tape on top of his shoe. Here are his numbers. 98 yards. He had the loss a moment ago, which took him from over 100. And Mike Adamle, what do you have for us on the injury?
Ron, the word right now on Robert Edwards, a sprained left foot. They're going to wait until halftime, I think, to evaluate it. So he may not get back in here in the first half. And Cannon Parkman, following Georgia's field goal to make it 10-7, sprained his right knee on the ensuing kickoff, so he too could be doubtful.
Boy, and the special teams for Georgia have really been outstanding. Manning throws it complete inside the 40. It's Marcus Nash. Good for 12 yards.
It's pitch and catch for Tennessee right now. They're spreading the field with their different formations. Peyton Manning sitting right in there, reading the secondary like a veteran. Finds Marcus Nash on an out route right in front of Kirby Smart for the big completion.
Kirby Smart had 3 sacks last week for Georgia. They use him as an extra defensive back from time to time. This running play stopped by Travis Stroud as Graham, who had 144 yards last week, off to a good start tonight, but and now he's got 40 yards on 7 carries. Ronnie Pillow comes into the backfield. Number 3, a sophomore from Columbia, Tennessee. Buster Owens was the closest man to that, but he was looking for Nilo Sylvan, and really the first time that Manning has thrown a bad pass tonight.
Good ball fake, just a little bit too high. Throw off the middle sometimes, down the slope a little bit. You go high sometimes. Here's the good fake, good pass protection. What Georgia's trying to do is alternate defensive linemen as much as they can because they want to keep them fresh for the second half. They stay close. They want those linemen fresh to chase Peyton Manning in the second half.
Third down on the line to make the 28. Tennessee is 3 of 3 on third down conversion. Peyton throws it complete, and what a catch by Maurice Stanley.
Want to learn how to catch a football? If you're a young guy out there watching this telecast, Maurice Staley did not wait on the football. He went out and snatched it out of the air. That's the way you like for your receivers to go after the football. Peyton Manning again with pretty good protection by that offensive line. Has a lot of time to stand tall. And you see Maurice Staley right in front of Orlando Sims, number 22, make a great catch.
Staley trying to make amends for that fumble he had earlier. Graham hit hard at the line of scrimmage against Witt. Marshall, the senior out of Atlanta, 6'2", 238.
He's their middle linebacker. He's the senior signal caller that makes it go for this Georgia defense. Makes all the calls in their fronts. Makes all the calls of the stunts and the blitzes.
And after graduation, he'll continue to make the calls as a consumer economics major. 13 minutes and going under 13 until halftime. This is the 11th play of the drive for Tennessee. All alone on the short side of the field as David Horn is tied in. He'll sneak inside the 10-yard line, and it's 1st and goal, Tennessee. Well, stay tuned next Saturday for triple header action here on ESPN. 12:30 Eastern, the Pac-10 meets the Big Ten as Arizona travels to Illinois. And at 6:30, our primetime game features Michigan at Boston College. And at 9:30, it's football wax style as San Diego State meets BYU. All next Saturday, right here on ESPN. Graham up the right side to penetrate the 5-yard line. Then a nice job by Jason Ferguson, the junior out of Nettleton, Mississippi, a defensive tackle, making the stop on him.
He's running behind Jeff Smith, number 74, the right guard. Leslie Ratliff, the right tackle, 75. It's the good movement that they get. There's number 36, Whit Marshall, making the first contact on Jay Graham.
This offensive line combining for 134 starts.
And the great thing about that, Ron, is they're experienced. They know the calls. They know what they're doing.
Horn in motion. It's Graham. You see him pull the tackle at the 1-yard line. Wow, that's a pretty good stick. Whit Marshall. Well, Whit came up and really put a hat on him along with Corey Johnson and denied him the end zone.
Corey Johnson, the coaches from Georgia, said pound for pound may be our best football player. He makes a big play here on the counter play. Number 74, Jeff Smith. Leslie Ratliff, 75 on the pull. There's number 27, Corey Johnson, with a tackle that saved the touchdown.
3rd down, Tennessee. The ball just inside the Georgia 2. Pillow on the receiving end. Mike, that is an extremely difficult play to make going against the grain.
Excellent job by Peyton Manning. And you were talking about his speed, but let me tell you something. His speed is fast enough. Yep. Because Buster Owens was coming from that backside, number 3 on a corner blitz, but he could not get to Peyton Manning. Some quarterbacks have a feel of where the defensive guy is. It looked like Peyton Manning had an understanding of when he needed to throw that football to Ronnie Pillow.
Jeff Hall. Knocks it home, and with 11:03 left until halftime, Tennessee 14, Georgia 10.
Remember this date, fans. May 2nd, 1939. Lou Gehrig, the Iron Horse, has just taken himself out of the Yankee lineup for the first time in 14 seasons. 2,130 consecutive games, a record that will stand as long as young men play the game of baseball.
Honda, we've already put together quite a chapter for ourselves in racing history. Of course, another page or two wouldn't hurt.
The road doesn't always rise to meet you. The wind isn't always at your back. So for energy, always rely on a low-fat, highly nutritious Power Bar.
ESPN's presentation of CFA Primetime is brought to you by American Honda, who's been making quality automobiles in America for the past 12 years. And by Power Bar, fuel for optimum performance. So Tennessee with a long drive, and they put it in the end zone for their 14th point. Again, Hunter and Daniels back to receive the kick from Jeff Hall. Daniels, and they tell him, nope, don't come out. Mike Adamle, check with you. Mike Gafford, I'm sorry.
On this last touchdown, Peyton Manning's going to roll to the left side. Buster Owens is going to come on a blitz. Stop it right there. See, he has a little bit of a feel here, Buster Owens, and now number 3, Ronnie Pillow, is separated right here for the touchdown.
So Mike Bobo, his team scrimmaging from the 20-yard line. Trailing by 4. Edwards back in the lineup, and he'll take it to the 29-yard line. Corey Gaines will make the hit on him. Mike Adamle.
Well, Ron, not since Bo Jackson and before that Herschel Walker, as a player from the South, dominated the covers of the preseason football magazines like Peyton Manning. You see him, Athlon, Sporting News, the regional cover of SI, Football Time in Tennessee. One wonders if it's too much too soon. He is clearly the apple pie here in Knoxville, but he's also humble pie. He's really embarrassed by all the attention, and he says he's not worried about his head getting too big because he's got teammates like Bubba Miller to keep him in check.
Good defensive stick by Tyrone Hines.
I can answer that too much too soon. No. He is as impressive tonight as any young quarterback I've seen in college football. He's only had a quarter and some few minutes here in the second quarter, but Peyton Manning has played about as well as you can ask a quarterback to play tonight.
So it's third down. To keep this one going, they got to take it to the 30-yard line. Ward is who he wanted. It looked as though they had confusion on what route was to have been run.
I think you're right, Ron. I think they busted the route. It looked like it was, Mike Bobo was expecting a deep comeback, and Hines Ward took off down the field. They just did not get together on the route.
Sean Summers, number 23, is back in a deep safety. He almost blocked. Dax Langley does a good job of getting it away to the 25. And Summers will run out of bounds after a 46-yard kick at the 32.
On the return.
So let's take a break. 9:29 until halftime. Tennessee by 4.
First and 10, Tennessee.
Listen, if you buy a Sega Saturn before September 30th, you get 3 free games! That's $150 value!
Dr. Forrest, dial 118, please.
Sega Saturn!
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. This is dull.
Doesn't have to be.
And now the starting starting lineup. That groom from Texas, Billy Clyde Humphrey. And at Bride, a 5'6" debutante from Alabama, Nell Peterson. The Humphrey wedding brought to you by Miller Lite. When you've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite, life is good. The vows are up.
I do.
I do.
And they're good. Whoa, Nelly!
That was beautiful, man.
Come on, move the car. Hey, move the car. Hey, what is wrong with you? Move the...
The Horned Frogs are coming off their best season in years. Next Thursday, they'll go to Lawrence to take on the Kansas Jayhawks. TCU versus Kansas. Thursday night CFA at 8 on ESPN.
Listen, if you buy a Sega Saturn before September 30th, you get 3 free games! That's $150 value!
Dr. Forrest, dial 118, please.
Sega
Saturn!
Well, now it's time for our Sega Sports Students of the Game. The University of Georgia senior guard Paul Taylor. Paul majors in English and religion and is a member of the Athletes Speakers Bureau, focusing on programs to stay in school and say no to drugs. And from the University of Tennessee, senior linebacker Scott Gallion. He's a member of the FCA and has acted as co-chairperson for the MS Foundation, of which he was active in conducting readathons for children. Sega Sports congratulates these fine student athletes. Graham is met at the line of scrimmage by Keith Drayton, and this is a guy that Ray Goff talked a lot about last night. He's playing behind an awfully good one in Travis Stroud, but he has come in and has turned some heads, so he's getting a lot of playing time.
Well, he said Travis Stroud really upped his game when these junior college players come in. He said Keith Drayton has pushed him, but he expects Keith Drayton to play about 10 to 12 plays. Stroud will still be the starter.
Staley across midfield and down to the 43. Armin Love will make the stop.
Maurice Staley's making a name for himself tonight, Ron. Peyton Manning again with the good, strong arm is able to get the curl route. Number 21, Maurice Staley. Now he makes the move outside, picks up more valuable yardage. Finally tackled by Love, number 9.
Lane comes into the backfield. Eric, a junior out of East Orange, New Jersey, 6'2", 217. Where's number 5? Nash knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Mike Tirico, what do you have for us?
Ron, you mentioned scrimmage for Auburn, also a statistical night for many of their players, including Stephen Davis, who could go over 2,000 career yards. He has 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. Tigers lead there. Next week, Tennessee plays Florida. Gators up 14 in the Commonwealth. Werfel to Doring, the first touchdown. Taylor runs in the second.
Mike, let me remind you, the last time that Florida went to the Commonwealth, you remember Florida had to score in the last play of the ball game, a pass deep in the end zone to get the victory. But it doesn't look as though the Cats are going to be able to do that tonight. Here's a reverse, and he caught him in a blitz, but enough of a hit on Sylvan, and he's going to be ridden out of bounds for a loss. One man, Mike, and that could have been a walk down the sideline.
Pretty good play call, Ron. Go back 2 plays, Ron, and this is the strategy that Tennessee's trying to do. They're trying to put Randall Godfrey outside, and now against the receiver, Marcus Nash. Marcus Nash will handle Randall Godfrey in this kind of situation. Most of the time, you see, it's not even close. So they got him out in space. He's a run player. Now they got him playing in space. That's an adjustment George is going to have to make.
Graham the only setback this time on a 2nd down and 14. Nice identification there. As quickly up to the hit as Randall Godfrey.
That's why they want to put him out in space, because when he's inside, he's going to make plays against this Tennessee defense. Number 42, sitting in the middle. Randall Godfrey makes the play, makes the tackle. He's lighter than he was. As a freshman, he was 218. He's 230 now. He was 250 in the spring, so he lost weight for Joe Kynes, the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, and he really likes this defense. They're no longer a read and react. They're attacking, and he just smiled last night when I asked him that question. Do you like it? And he just beamed. Yes, he does. Godfrey coming up the middle on the blitz, and somebody moved as flags go down. That is the first flag of this football game.
Before the ball was snapped, there's movement by the offensive line. 5 yards, still third down.
That's Al Ford, who's the referee tonight. And boy, to their credit, they have really let this ball game move along.
Ron, that's Joe Kynes. He came from Arkansas. He's a defensive coordinator. He said Ray Goff called, and he's from Cedartown, Georgia. He said, this is worth the effort. I wanted to come back to the University of Georgia.
Well, the kids really believe in him, and they're playing hard for him. Georgia faked the corner blitz, and then they stay at home. Manning steps up on top, and the defensive back had stopped the receiver. Buster Owens did a good job on Sylvan, and he was just knocked out of his route.
Joe Kynes is Randall Godfrey's third defensive coordinator in 3 years. He said it's been a big adjustment, but as you said, Ron, he said, we're going to hit the first punch. You see Joe Kynes, Marion Campbell last year, Richard Bell, very good coaches. And he said when he grew up in Georgia, Joe Kynes said, he said that Erk Russell and the Georgia defense had the mystique of the state. And he said, I just want to be a part of that.
Benyon to punt, and it's Chris McCraney back deep. Trying to get this one high and get it to go dead at the 1, and it takes a Tennessee bound. "25 yards in the kick, and it's dead just inside the 10. Let's take a break.
First and 10, Georgia.
Maybe you shouldn't watch this.
All right, man, get off me. Y'all been nosy now.
But if you're not afraid, call this number now to get into pro football's private world with this exclusive new video, Total Access 95. Plus, you'll also catch this super Spalding football, both free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. With Total Access, you go wherever you want.
Going into every room with a camera.
You'll hear things you shouldn't.
This movie is rated R. No, you're wrong. Adult language. Gosh, dang it. Doggone it.
You'll know when things go wrong.
We need another receiver. Oh, boy. But that ain't my fault, Coach. Oh, man.
You'll have Total Access and a regulation-sized football. Free when you order 54 issues for only $1.47 an issue. Save over 50% off the cover price. Use your credit card. Call now to get Total Access and your Spalding football both free from SI. There is nothing in the world like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Now, let me get this straight. You want me to get up at 11:45 on Sunday morning, watch you guys on game day for an hour and 15 minutes, talking about all the upcoming games, then watch all the games for 6 hours, then turn back to watch you guys on prime time to wrap up all the games for another hour? In other words, over 8 hours of nonstop football? Yeah! All right, I love it. Pass the pickle. All right.
Welcome back to Neyland Stadium, where Georgia trailing Tennessee 14-10. One of the things that Georgia is looking to do in this post-Eric Zaire era is more balance on offense to help their defense. Takes a look at this stat. Of the 41 touchdowns last year, only 7 were over 40 yards. Their average scoring possession, 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and only 2 drives over 4 minutes. Last year, of course, and when you look at the Georgia offense on the field, they want a better run-pass ratio, time-wise. So they need to run the ball like they did in the first quarter with Robert Edwards.
Torrin Kirksey gets the carry, and we haven't seen much of Edwards. Undoubtedly, that sprained foot is really bothering him.
Here's what Mike Adamle was talking about, the difference in last year and this year. Last year, 107 yards rushing. This year, 128.
You know, Mike, I remember we counted up as we left the stadium last year. Georgia's defense was on the field in this game 91 plays.
You're exactly right.
And I remember you saying you can't win in any league leaving your defense out there that much. Bobo going to go on top. Terry Fair came back and hit the football.
What you want if you're Ray Goff, you don't want to drop too far behind to make Mike Bobo have to win this game. Now, the injury to Robert Edwards has really hurt this ball club, not only from the standpoint, the physical standpoint that Robert Edwards gives you, but the emotional standpoint. He's just been such a catalyst for this football team. For him to be out, it really hurts Ray Goff's football team.
Yeah, it really has. Third down, and to keep this drive going, they need to take it to the 19. And they're going to have the first down. It's Larry Bowie, senior out of Anniston, Alabama, 6 feet 228. Is good for 12 yards.
Mike Bobo with a good release. They released a tight end inside. Larry Bowie outside, number 15. He stretches for the first down. Holding on to that football.
Yeah, he was covering it up.
I'm sure Ray Goff told him, if we don't commit any turnovers, we usually have so many turnovers, as you said at the opening of the show. Let's keep them down and stay in this ball game and have a chance to win it in the fourth quarter.
Bobo in the flat on the other side. And Bowie will have the first down as he'll take it to the 36-yard line. Terry Fair knocked his feet out from under him, but good for 14.
Mike Bobo's been impressive also tonight, along with Peyton Manning. Underneath, you see what he's doing there. He's having great success underneath, under 15 yards, and he's had 2 big strikes against this Tennessee pass defense.
Zaire got hurt last year in the Georgia Tech game, and he played. He said that really helped his confidence and the confidence of his teammates, that he could do the job.
Said he had his jacket on. Never thought he was going to go into the game, so he didn't really have time to worry about it.
Probably the reason he played so well. Good stick right up the middle as Kurtzy gets blasted back. Craig King and Gallion are there to combine on the stop.
Talk about Eric Zaire. He's missed here at the University of Georgia, but they're a more balanced offensive football team this year. In the coaching at the University of Georgia, Greg Davis, the quarterback coach, Eric Zaire was prepared from the day he got to the Cleveland Browns. He's had an excellent preseason camp up there.
Oh, boy, has he.
Just feels so much confidence in this Georgia football team this year, and I think it all centers around this man, Ray Goff. Mike Bobo said last night, Ray Goff told him, he said, hey, they start booing, they're booing me, they're not booing you. And Mike Bobo said it's the feeling of all this football team that they want to win, but they want to win for Ray Goff as much as they want to win for themselves.
Well, they're confused right now, and Goff has gone out on the field and said, let's call a timeout so we don't lose any more yardage, as they were penalized 5 just a moment ago. We'll take a break. Tennessee by 4.
Last Saturday, my wife Lisa and I went shopping. We're not paying any attention. That's when it hit me. What would happen to our family if Lisa weren't around anymore?
Well, recently I've been trying to get Dave and Lisa to review their life insurance.
We then called Kim. She's our nationwide insurance agent.
Lisa now has the life insurance she needs.
Sometimes I think about what almost happened. But thanks to Kim, I don't worry about what might happen.
Nationwide is on your side.
Nokia One-Touch Dialing lets you call important numbers with one touch of one button.
Emergency Road Services.
Amazing.
Nokia cellular phones.
Shaving can strip away your skin's moisture, leaving it dry, burning. But now you can take the heat out of shaving with new Old Spice Soothing Gel, an amazing 2-in-1 gel that combines aftershave and moisturizer into one soothing formula. Try it. If you don't think this makes your face feel great, call 1-800-PROVE-IT for a full refund. Prove it to yourself. Try new Soothing Gel. Takes the heat out of shaving. And now you've got proof. Guaranteed.
I doubt you can see it looking into the lights, but it's beginning to rain here in Knoxville. Not heavy, but just a little shower. And the forecaster said that that was definitely possible late in the afternoon. 5-yard penalty assessed against Georgia a moment ago for illegal substitution. They broke the huddle with 12 men, one coming off the field. You can't deceive the defense, and Al Ford and the group caught him. Bobo hit from behind, and he's sacked by Shane Burton.
I think Mike Bobo made a good decision there, Ron. His protection broke down, but the route was well covered. He could have put the ball up and maybe you've gotten it picked off. Pressure's coming from the outside. Shane Burton, number 84, just beats the block. And then up Troy Stark, 75, sacks Mike Bobo. But a good decision by Mike Bobo not to put it up in the air.
First time that he's been sacked tonight, and it's 3rd down. And they got to take this one all the way out to the 47 to hold on to the football. Hit just as he unloads it. That was Leonard Little running after the ball, but it was Steve White who separated him from the football.
We talked earlier about the big line splits. Tennessee's taking advantage with some good moves. Down lineman moves, blitz, running linebackers through and taking advantage. Steve White is a playmaker. Quick, good size. Here's the move. Comes inside from the backside, beat Rusty Beatles, number 70.
Shelvin to receive this punt from Langley. Gets by 1. And now here comes a late flag in. 45 yards in the kick. Buster Owens downfield to make the stop, and it's 13 on the return.
Blocking the back on the return. Tennessee, 1st down and 10.
ESPN, your home for college football, starts Thursday off with the weekend kickoff show with Fowler, James, and Corso at 7:30, followed by Max Nocky and the TCU Horned Frogs as they battle the Kansas Jayhawks at 8 p.m. So you'll be in Lawrence on Thursday evening.
We'll go watch Michigan practice this week on Tuesday and then head to Lawrence, Kansas for that ball game. I'll meet up with you.
Graham takes it to the right side, almost has 5 on the plate. Greg Bright will trip him up. Now rushing yards, Georgia 109 and Tennessee 59. It quieted somewhat. First quarter, they were absolutely going crazy up and down the field.
Well, we're missing Robert Edwards. After he left the football field, Georgia could not run the ball anymore successfully. They need him back in the game.
They took that tape off his shoe. I have to believe it probably they took the stocking off and taped his ankle rather than the shoe. Joey King. And now 1 flag and a 2nd flag. Sims and Corey Johnson were out there. And let us wait and see.
Talk about the injury to Robert Edwards. Wait till the penalty's called here, but difference in philosophy of the Tennessee defense.
Face mask on the defense. 5 yards tacked on to the end of the run. 1st down.
With Robert Edwards out, you see a more aggressive Tennessee defense. They've had 1 sack on Mike Bobo, and then they hit him in the back the other time. So without Robert Edwards in there, it's tee-off time by that defense.
Sure does make a difference. The road map looks different. Block from Eric Lane to pave the way, and he's close to the 1st down. And let's check in with Mike Tirico. Michael, what do you have for us?
Well, Ron, in about 2.5 minutes, we'll have the GMAC halftime report. Among the stories, survival Saturday for the SEC team, Alabama. Also, Penn State in a close one at home. And Notre Dame, another close game. We'll have all the highlights, plus Chris Lee and Craig coming up from Knoxville at halftime. Ron?
Okay. Well, I know that Spike Dykes would love to have had that win, but it has been a strong start for the Southwest Conference this year. SMU, Coach Rossley and his club with an upset of Arkansas last week. Pass Pass over the middle, just beyond his fingertips. Marcus Nash planed out, couldn't hold on to it.
Working against Randall Godfrey again, number 42, trying to keep him out in space, trying to make him play pass defense.
Bubba Miller with a good pass block on that play.
Here he is again, number 42. They got him out in space. Marcus Nash, number 12, is going to work against him. That's the kind of work they want all night. Tennessee will take that every play. This has been an impressive first half of hitting. Both these teams well coached, playing a great first half in an intense football game.
Manning trying to get everybody to get lined up as they move the change. Clock is running with 1:50 until halftime. Back to the sideline, and Horn is just unattended out there.
Talked about Peyton Manning. Almost been perfect. The 0 for 3 in the left corners is the only problem he's had. He's done everything right tonight, Ron. He's made every read right, and he still has 3 timeouts with 1:45 left on the clock.
Goes the sideline route. Woo. Greg Bright was closer to the pass than was David Horn. Got a little anxious on that one.
Joe Kine said Greg Bright, number 45, he has good eyes and knows where the ball is all the time. Made a good play on that against Peyton Manning's pass.
And now a timeout called by Tennessee with 1:40 showing on the clock, and we'll hold it right here. It's only 5 misses for Peyton out of 20, 212 yards. Well, coming up next on the GMAC halftime report, Notre Dame survives, Alabama survives, Penn State survives. It was a day of survival and a difficult time for some big names. Mike, I want to mention our college football family is extremely saddened tonight, and we want to say hi to Adrian Karsten and his family. Dr. Karsten passed away after a bout with cancer this past week. He has been a physician in Oricon, Wisconsin, known by so many people up there and loved for so many years. And to Mom Karsten and to Adrian and the rest of the family, folks, we just say we have been thinking about you since we got word of the tragic situation, and our thoughts and prayers are with you. You can hear it on microphones up here. The wind is beginning to blow a little bit. The rain has gone away, but maybe as the front came through, it's going to kick up a little bit. Has not been a factor in the early part of the ball game.
Looked like Peyton Manning was trying to change the play because they brought Randall Godfrey inside. It looked like he was going to blitz on that play, and Peyton Manning may have wanted to change the play. Didn't get it off in time. Number 42, right in the middle of your screen. Looks like he's going to blitz. Peyton Manning sees that, tried to change the play a little bit. Jeff Smith moved to right guard. Penalty on Tennessee.
So with that, Georgia gets one of those down linemen out. They go with 3 rush men and an extra defensive back, and now another timeout has been called. So Mike Tirico, let's check in with you. What do you have for us, young man?
Well, Ron, we keep watching the Auburn Tigers roll up their statistical numbers. I told you Stephen Davis 3 touchdown runs. Patrick Nix is 9 of 9 passing. This 10-yarder to Hicks 4, and they've just scored again. It's now 34-3.
All right, thank you. Boy, that one. That's probably, you could kind of dial it in whatever you want. I mean, as good as they are in the way they're playing.
Scoring so fast they can't keep track of it. Can't keep it updated.
Our situation, we started off like this house was on fire in the first quarter. Over 300 total yards by the 2 teams. But things have slowed down a little bit. One of the reasons that they had, as Mike has documented, is the fact that Robert Edwards, the fine running back for Georgia, sprained a foot. And as a result, the running game kind of went by the board, and you can't just throw it against a defense like Tennessee.
Well, that changes things. When you don't have the threat of Robert Edwards, you start to blitz a little bit more. You start to have some different line schemes to try to, you can tee off a little bit more if you're Tennessee because you don't have that threat in the backfield.
So the ball's out of the huddle into the line of scrimmage, and it looks like we'll finally get this third down play done. Over the middle, he's got him. At the 25 and down to the 23, Maurice Staley. And Mike, he's been very impressive in his first half.
He really has been impressive. He's made 3 or 4 catches tonight, been tough catches. And Peyton Manning's doing a nice job of looking off the receivers and looking off the defensive backs to hit Staley.
And as you could see in that tight shot of Peyton, it is now beginning to rain hard here in Knoxville. Boy, Marcus Nash had a little bit of a pick out there and had him open, and he just dropped it.
They're spreading the field, Ron. They've got excellent pass protection. That give the offensive line credit. Tennessee still with 1 timeout left, 1:23 on the clock. Ray Goff wanted to pick on that last play, but didn't get it. He felt like there was a pick by the Tennessee receivers.
He was close to right. They go with the draw play. A nice defensive work. As stepping up is Jason Ferguson. That's a couple of tackles for the backup there at left tackle, and he stops him for virtually no gain.
Joe Kynes felt that Jason Ferguson could be a special player. He said he hadn't said 2 words since he got here. He's a junior college transfer, just arrived in the fall.
Manning swings it out to Graham. Rights himself, stiff arm, and as you can see, that's Buster Owens who will knock him down just short of the 15.
Good play by the defensive backs, keeping the ball in front of them. They know where the chains are, and they know they want to force the field goal attempt. Buster Owens with a good tackle.
Mike, in watching his eyes, Manning I'm speaking of, it almost looked as though that Graham was either his 3rd or maybe even his 4th receiver.
I think he was looking for Nash first on the outside because he had him working against Randall Godfrey, and then he was able to come off. Good quarterback can come off his first read, go to his second, and then to his 3rd.
So Jeff Hall has come out, and they let the clock run down to 13 seconds. Tennessee will call a timeout so that they can stop the clock and set up the apparent field goal attempt. Mike Tirico, let's go back to you.
Ron, Tommy Frazier thinks he'll be able to play next week despite missing most of today's game at Michigan State with a deep thigh bruise. Brooke Behringer did a good job, and so did Lawrence Phillips. Over 200 yards, 51 here. He had 4 touchdowns. Nebraska wins by 40 in Lansing.
Well, that was a scary thing when we all saw that hit, and I just hope that his optimism is rewarded later on this week and that he doesn't start having that problem again.
It's an awesome offensive football team and a good defensive team. Ron, I think the big question of this first half in all Georgia fans' minds is what's going to happen with Robert Edwards? Can we get him back on the field? Because it's such a big momentum changer for him to be hurt and be out of this ball game. They need him back on the field.
So time is back in. 13 seconds left until halftime, and the field goal attempt 32 yards. Gets a good pass, and he knocks it home. 32 yards in the field goal. If Tennessee goes on top 17-10. Michigan's Shimanga Biakabatuka storms Beantown next Saturday, but the Eagles plan on an early wake-up call. Next Saturday, 6:30, Michigan at BC on prime time. Mike, I'm excited about that game. Chestnut Hill, one of the really pleasant areas to go to. A great setting in there, and those are 2 fun football teams.
I'm excited too, but a little concerned. I'm a little concerned about that name. I haven't started practicing it yet. You just any name you can handle, but a little tougher for me.
You may be the first one to give him a nickname.
I may give him Timmy B. I heard, matter of fact, I heard Mike Tirico say that today, so it'll be this. I'll be the second guy. Not sure Mike can say it either.
Oh, he can say anything.
Mark Hartzell, really, the quarterback at Boston College, had a great night against Virginia Tech. Probably couldn't have played any better that night.
7 seconds left until intermission. Volunteers by 7. Down at the 23, so they have an opportunity for one play. The concession stands are going to be busy at halftime because folks are heading toward the exits just for intermission so they can get dry. Georgia in tight, and Bobo will just take the snap and go down on one knee. So that is the end of the first half with our score. Tennessee 17 and Georgia 10. Now let's join Mike Tirico for the GMAC halftime report.
Okay, Ron, so Tennessee looking for a 5th straight in this series. They've won the last 2 by a combined score of 79-29, so certainly more competitive for the Bulldogs. Coming up on the GMAC halftime report, a lot of scares for some major college programs today. We'll have the scores and highlights, plus Chris, Lee, and Craig from Knoxville as we continue at halftime.
Just because you grew up, got a job, got married, and had a family, doesn't mean you have to get one of those, you know. Introducing Odyssey. With 4 doors and an easy fold-away rear seat. It's not just a minivan, it's a Honda.
Hi, may I help you?
Yeah, I need some shorts to play basketball.
Indoor or outdoor?
Outdoor.
Full court or half court?
Half, I guess.
Pick up or play. Shirts or skins?
Excuse me?
Day or night, home or away, team or one-on-one?
Is activewear becoming too specialized for you? Try Discus Athletic. Heavyweight sweats and tees. The activewear that's right for however you play. Discus Athletic. The way America plays.
Horse or pig?
Monroe developed Sensatrack shocks to smooth out the road for a comfortable ride. But Sensatrack doesn't stop there. It's the only shock that also gives you extra control when you need it most. Sensatrack shocks and struts, only by Monroe, for comfort and control.
This halftime report is brought to you by GMAC.
Let's get started from the top 25 games in progress. UCLA BYU off of UCLA's first series. Chris Saylor tries a fake punt, then punts it. Ben Cook of BYU picks it up. It's a nice return out of it. This play, store it away. Recycle that play in the playbook. 36-yard field goal by Bill Hansen, answered by a Bjorn Merton field goal. Ryan Feen, the UCLA quarterback who missed part of last week with a concussion, has a concussion again, may not return. It's 3-3 in the second in Provo. Southern Cal's opener at the Coliseum against San Jose State. Brad Otten gets the start. Look at Keyshawn Johnson. He'll make either quarterback look good. 35-yard play. Trojans move on to a Sean Walters 1-yard plunge. They switch sides for the quarter. Waters has scored again. Both Otten and Wachholtz have good numbers at quarterback. Southern Cal leads by 21. At Nippert Stadium, Cincinnati leads Kansas State, approaching halftime 14-0. No relation to the great coach, but Darrell Royal has the big score for Cincinnati. Florida playing Kentucky, off to a good start, leading in the Commonwealth 21-0, lying in wait for Tennessee next week. We can update now Stephen Davis, 4 touchdowns in Auburn's 39-point lead over Tennessee Chattanooga. The story of this college football week past was Notre Dame's loss to Northwestern. How would they react against a Purdue team that is very good at running the ball and showed that last week on the road? winning at Morgantown against West Virginia. Wild game, fourth quarter, 28-20, Notre Dame. Ron Paulus is looking picked off. Good read by Derek Brown, who will go 54 yards. And in West Lafayette, the fans are fired up. It's a 2-point Notre Dame lead. Jim Coletto's going to go for 2. Rick Trefsker, the quarterback who was out, injured, came back in this game. Swing it out to Corey Rogers, who had a great TD run earlier. Tied at 28. First play after the Purdue kickoff. Hold your whistle. Randy Kinder. Watch him avoid a couple of tackles. This game was replete with poor tackling. This was a great run, too. 52 yards, Notre Dame 35, Purdue 28. Purdue comes back down. 2nd and 10. Trefsker for Greg Allen in the end zone. They went on 4th down again, trying to pick up the first down, came up a yard and a half short. Notre Dame survives, beating Purdue by 7. The Irish take on Vandy next week. Alabama. In their last 22 games, they've trailed 16 of those games, including this one. Eric Booth takes the pitch. Look at him keep his balance. He had 2 touchdowns. This 30-yarder made it 17-3 Southern Miss. Here comes the rally. Down 17-10, Brian Bergdorf airs it out. Off the deflection in the end zone, Curtis Brown. Opportunistic, tied at 17 late in the game. Chris Pierce, 36-yard field goal. Southern Miss is up 3. Gene Stallings' team in need of a miraculous comeback. Last minute, 4th and 13, inside their own 20. Bergdorf to Todrick Malone. First down by about that much. Drive stays alive. 4th and 17 now from the 35. Take a shot at the end zone. Inside of 30 seconds, Malone, the game-winning score. Alabama won its last 4 meetings with Southern Miss, surviving here in terrific numbers for Bergdorf. Tide rolls by 4. Penn State back to the wall against Texas Tech. Early going, part of the reason they got in trouble. A botched reverse is recovered by Sean Banks in the end zone. The Red Raiders scored 20 points off turnovers, led at one point 20-7. Penn State charged back. Brett Conway missed 2 field goals. Joe Paterno said he's a good kicker. He's not going to miss 3 in a row. And he did. A 39-yard field goal, barely in with 4 seconds left. Texas Tech missed an extra point in the second quarter. Part of the reason Penn State able to get it done. Bobby Engram, by the way, 106 yards in receiving. Number 1, Florida State. Number 2, Nebraska continue to roll. Florida State gives up 26 for the 2nd straight week. Nebraska scores 50 and gains over 500 yards for the 2nd straight week. The debut of Howard Schnellenberger at Oklahoma taking on San Diego State. Eric Moore, the quarterback, hands off to Gerald Moore. They're not related except they're both Sooners. They're both good, and they're both winners on this Saturday night. A 52-yard score for Gerald Moore. He had 159 yards and 3 scores on the day. Eric Moore, 152 yards passing and an INT. Oklahoma wins by the score of 38-22. That's some of the stories and scores in the top 10. Let's get some reaction on that. Head to Knoxville and join Chris Fowler. Chris?
All right, Mike, thank you. We batten down the hatches as a storm comes out of the Appalachian Mountains. The rain coming sideways here. Notre Dame survives, guys. We can call this survival Saturday for a lot of big teams, if not for a fingertip catch by Purdue. Might have come down to a 2-point conversion. Are you concerned about what their defense did today?
Well, you have to be concerned with what their defense did today because Purdue was able to go out and be able to move the ball on the ground and through the air. But Notre Dame, the thing that I was impressed with in their game is that they had enthusiasm. They played hard football, and that was something they haven't done in a while.
I know it was against Purdue, but I think Notre Dame found their offensive balance. They had 250 yards running, 252 yards passing. That's a good sign. They have Vanderbilt at home next week. I think they can beat them. Texas comes in 2 weeks. They'll be 2-1. The season's not over for the Irish. They still got a chance. Yeah.
Penn State almost watched their goal disappear on opening day. The fumbles, you can't be too concerned. You know that's not going to happen every week with Bobby Engram. Anything else concern you?
If you're the coaching staff at Penn State, you have to look at Texas Tech's defensive line and the inexperience they have there. Tech is supposed to get dominated in that ball game. Penn State didn't do that. Number 2, Wally Richardson, the quarterback, just needs to let the players around him excel. He put his offense in a hole by trying to do too many things on his own.
Interesting point. Great teams win close games at the end. Alabama, all these guys we're talking about, right? They expect to win. That's the secret.
Alabama, though, only 84 yards on the ground. Not a good sign. Brian Bergdorf gains confidence with the comeback win, but the running game not there. What did you see in this first half that impressed you?
Well, the thing that impressed me the most about this game here is that Peyton Manning is extremely talented. not only in his arm, but in his mind. The guy takes what the defense gives him. The little quick short passes in this game has really hurt Georgia, getting it to his receivers, allowing the receivers to make the plays. They're not wrapping up. They're not doing the things that they should to slow those Tennessee receivers down.
I'm impressed with Georgia's team. They're extremely well coached and they play very hard. But the key to this game is Tennessee is so fast. Man, they got speed in every position. Even the coaches are fast on the sideline.
With Robert Edwards ailing, we'll have to see how they can do without him, and perhaps dealing with some inclement weather in the second half. Mike Tirico with more scores and highlights as we continue from our studios. It's 17-10. The Vols up over the Dogs at halftime.
Don't let a new truck payment stretch you to the limit. Call 1-800-32-SMART about Smart Lease by GMAC. It keeps new vehicles well within reach. Don't let a new car payment get you all wound up. Call 1-800-32-SMART about Smart Lease by GMAC. It can put a new spin on affordability.
Oh, looks like his cereal left him flat. Of course, theirs didn't. So what's your excuse? Hey, pick up the broken pieces of your life and move on. Look, there's hope. Here, try this, see? Kellogg's low-fat granola's got big clumps of rolled oats, brown sugar, sweet raisins, and almonds, not flat little flakes. So you get a taste that's anything but flat. So, hey, wake up, get with it, like they did. Try something that won't leave you flat. Kellogg's low-fat granola, now with even more raisins. And hurry, we can't take much more of this.
Pushing camera 3.
Timeout is called right now. Shaq's got to do something big to get back in this game.
Commercial.
Shaq is leaving the court. What do you mean?
He's over there.
He's on Lucy. What?
I didn't know Shaq could ride a horse.
Hiya, pal. Well, the timeout is over. I wonder if he's going to get back. Hey, wait a minute. Shaq's back. He's got it. How about that?
He says there's nothing good on TV.
This GMAC Halftime Report is presented by GMAC Smart Lease. Want low monthly payments on a new GM vehicle? Call 1-800-32-SMART.
Our CFA primetime game has Tennessee on top in the ACC. Tiki Barber of Virginia, a 1-yard touchdown run with 13 seconds left. As the Cavaliers win, Michigan plays BC next week at this time. They are 3-0. In the Big East, Miami wins Game 1 for new coach Butch Davis. Syracuse blew a 21-0 lead. Marcus Crandall pass happy in the victory. In the ACC, Maryland moves to 2-0. North Carolina's 0-2. 1958, the last time Carolina started 0-2, but rallied to have a 500 or better season. In the SEC, LSU traveling to Starkville. Jerry DiNardo up against Mississippi State. His team of 24-10, and Kevin Falk, one of the top recruits in the nation this year. A high school star in Louisiana last year, is a college star in Louisiana this year. 58-yard score. He had 171 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tigers defeat the Bulldogs for the 4th straight time, this time by 18, despite Eric Mold's 157 yards and a school record 14th career touchdown reception. Dre Hill for Arkansas, a school record 6 touchdowns as the Hogs win at home in Fayetteville. Bowling Green beats Missouri. Larry Smith, the Missouri coach, loses to his alma mater by 7 at Furrow Field in Columbia. Cal loses again, this time to Fresno State, which rallied. By the way, folks, Cal has now lost 4 straight to WAC teams. Iowa's won 11 straight against Northern Iowa. Good balance, 220 yards rushing, and you see their passing total today. Pittsburgh in progress tonight at home, looking to go to 2-0. Is leading Eastern Michigan by 7. You see Duke up on Rutgers by 7. And Ohio ends the nation's longest losing streak at 12 behind Kareem Wilson's 117 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. We're at halftime in the SEC. Peyton Manning, his touchdown pass to Ronnie Pillow put the Vols up 4. They've since added a field goal and lead the Georgia Dogs by 3.
This could be your arm. This could be your back. This could be your stomach. This could be your thigh. These could be your shoulders. could be your body. This could be the way. The Soloflex Muscle Machine. Call now for a free brochure. This could be your arm. This could be your chest. These could be your shoulders. This could be your thigh. This could be your stomach. This could be your back. This could be your body. This could be the way. The Soloflex Muscle Machine. Call now for a free brochure.
Growing up in a small town in Tennessee, my parents dared me to dream big. They didn't make my choices. They just wanted me to be prepared to reach the top. Looking back, there were a lot of good colleges I could have attended, but I'm glad I chose the University of Tennessee. Sure, the academic standards are high, but more than that, at the University of Tennessee, reaching the top is not just a dream.
Tennessee leading Georgia in our primetime game. Let's get you updated on the GMAC halftime report on another primetime. Deion Sanders, who went 3 for 6 playing baseball for the San Francisco Giants as they beat the Cubs today, but was a winner of another sort. He has signed a contract to play with the Dallas Cowboys, 6 or 7 year contract, voidable after 5 years, $25 million, an NFL best $12 million signing bonus. Press conference to be held Monday. Deion Sanders has signed with the Dallas Cowboys. The tennis story at the U.S. Open, Steffi Graf called it the biggest win in her career. Despite losing the middle set, love 6, she beats Monica Seles for her 18th Grand Slam title. 1-2 ladies, 1-2 men in the finals. Andre Agassi just moments ago has closed out Boris Becker, losing the 3rd set. Pete Sampras lost the 2nd set, but he moves on. Sampras Agassi, the men's final tomorrow. We've got a second game of our doubleheader tonight. It's a battle of Colorado and Colorado State. The letter C plays prominently in the storylines of this game, coaches and climate. For a preview, let's go out to Boulder and Brad Nessler.
All right, thanks, Mike. Colorado's won 4 straight in this series that dates back to the 1890s, Gary, and really in the off-season for these 2 ball clubs and these 2 programs, a story of 2 coaches.
Yeah, it's the story of one guy staying, Sonny Lubick, and one guy leaving, Bill McCartney. Rick Neuheisel is the new coach here at Colorado. We saw what his team did opening the season against Wisconsin. The story for Sonny Lubick is, he's never slowed down. Turned down that Miami job, was in the Holiday Bowl, and now he had 1 victory, and he comes in to kind of measure his team again against this Colorado team.
Both are off to 1-0 starts, and Sonny Lubick told us yesterday, I haven't had a chance to enjoy the WAC title from last year, the Holiday Bowl, or anything else. Time to get to work tonight, though. And we've got a pretty good chance that we could see some showers, and it's cool here in Boulder as we get set for the Buffaloes and the Rams. Let's go back to Mike Tirico.
Brad, we'll see you then. Some showers in the air in Knoxville. So have been some passes from Peyton Manning, who ran in this 8-yarder, helping the Vols up 7.
Don't let a new car payment be a financial burden. Call 1-800-32-SMART. About Smart Lease by GMAC. It just might give you something you wouldn't mind carrying around. Don't let a new car payment get you all wound up. Call 1-800-32-SMART about Smart Lease by GMAC. It can put a new spin on affordability.
Well, this is it.
Ooh, what a dump.
Don't worry. We know a good handyman. What a dump. Can you help?
Sure. Some primer, a couple of wing nuts. How's that?
That'll work. Hey, can you miter cut those floorboards? Will do. Good news. The external beer tap is functional. Yeah!
When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good.
I could have done this. Yeah.
If you're in high school and like to play sports for an NCAA Division I or II school, you must be certified by the NCAA Initial Eligibility Clearinghouse. Ask your coach or guidance counselor for one of these student release forms. Fill it out and send it to the clearinghouse. Remember, if you're not certified, you can't compete as a freshman in NCAA Division I or II school. more information, call 319-337-1492.
As the GMAC halftime report continues, let's update a couple of games involving SEC teams. Florida is comfortably ahead of Kentucky, 21-0. Terry Jackson, 54 yards and a touchdown for the Gators. And Damian Craig, the backup quarterback's in already in the second half. He just threw a touchdown pass. The Tigers lead UTC by 46. Send you back to Knoxville now to Chris, Lee, and Craig. Mr. Fowler.
Thank you, Mike. After the early fireworks lead by the Georgia offense, Tennessee's defense kind of regrouped. What about the second half now?
Well, Chris, from what I've seen, if Edwards is out of the ball game in the second half, I think Georgia's going to have to throw the ball, and I think this wind and rain will affect them. I am tremendously impressed with Tennessee's special teams. They can play. I think that'll be the difference. Tennessee wins with special teams in the second half.
Tennessee wins this game, period, regardless if Robert Edwards comes back. I think Georgia's defense needs to invite the run from Tennessee. Peyton Manning is killing them with the pass. And from what I've seen in this game and from other games watching on television, I'd say, without a doubt, Auburn is the best team in the Southeastern Conference. They are going to be good.
Get a pro Auburn plug in there. We knew you could do it in a few seconds.
That's
Right,
all.
the second half is coming up from Knoxville. 17-10, the Vols over the Dogs. Killing me. See at halftime of the second half of our doubleheader.
You're killing me.
I've decided to become a trash-talking small forward. Yo, Mama!
It's good to take up new hobbies as you get older. I think I'll take up pole vaulting.
There are many activities you just shouldn't attempt as you get older.
I'm clearly meant to be a weightlifter.
But surprisingly, weightlifting isn't one of them.
It is my destiny.
Especially when you do it on the Soloflex Rocket. The Rocket gives you a complete aerobic and muscle-building workout just by rocking back and forth while you read, listen to music, or watch TV. And anybody can do it, no matter how old or out of shape you are. Start off with little or no weight for just a few minutes a day. Before you know it, you'll have more energy, less fat, and more strength than you've had in years. Call now for a free video and brochure, and get the one machine that comes with a new lease on life.
210 years ago, the founders of the University of Georgia dreamed of an institution dedicated to academic excellence. Today, more than 2 centuries later, their dream has been achieved. The nation's oldest chartered public university, the University of Georgia.
Back in Knoxville, 17-10, our halftime score. Tennessee on top. And the first half story is very easy. Edwards, 107 rushing yards. All other Georgia running backs, 0, Mike.
Ron, it's a story here. He makes a cutback, goes into the touchdown on the cutback. Got great vision. Here's a long run. At the end of this run, you're going to see him use his strength, try to stiff arm the defensive back to get extra yardage. And on our third play, you're going to see him. This is the injury. Shane Burton, number 84, is going to come in your screen, tackle him, and there's where he was injured. Big loss for the Georgia team.
107 yards for him and everybody else 0. So, boy, that speaks more than volumes. I mean, that's it. 9 rushes, 107.
I think that's one of the stories. The other story is Peyton Manning played so well in that first half.
Langley kicking off, replacing Parkman, who injured his knee in that first half. Sylvan fumbled it, now gets it up at the 20, 25. He's one of the best in the nation. At the 30, at the 20 of Georgia, and shoved out of bounds just inside the 15-yard line. $83 yards on the kick return.
What he did too, Ron, was he hit the middle. You're going to see him on the kickoff return. He catches a football. Now he hits the middle. Now he breaks to the left side. There's the middle. Now he breaks to the side. Now here's where he does a great job. He lets his blocker set up. He picks up about 10 more yards by just letting his blocker set up. Craig King, number 44, with a big block for him to get about 10, 15 more yards.
Well, Nilo Sylvan, number 1 in the SEC in returns. And after this one tonight, he may be number 1 in the nation.
Special teams.
Graham to the left side. Tripped up. That's a nice job by Greg Bright to make the stop. And let's check in with Mike Adamle.
Well, Ron, as we said in the first half, he has a sprained midfoot on his left foot, Robert Edwards. What they've done is put a steel shank in his left shoe, and hopefully that will give him a little more support. Now, when Georgia gets the ball back on offense, he will play, at least try to. But as he walked out here for the start of the second half, he was walking very gingerly.
Okay, Mike, thanks for the update. Second down, the running play goes to the right side. And a reminder that every 10, 30, and 50 minutes after the hour, ESPN will update you as we are right now on the scores from around the country. Opening minute of play in the second half as Nilo Sylvan just exploded. And Mike, how many times have you seen it on special teams where a guy will fumble a ball and the return team will kind of break down for a moment rather than stay in their lane?
They just relax a little bit. And Ron, on that kickoff return, Buster Owens, number 3 from Georgia, defensive back, was hurt, so he's not in the ball game. Number 22, Alonda Sims, takes his spot.
Well, Tennessee's had to call a timeout because they had confusion. Wide receiver was lined up wrong. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Oh, no.
Hey, what do you say there, fellow football freak? You better get out of here before Mrs. Football Freak catches you. Hey, come on, we're going to the big game. Can't do it. I got a new car. Oh, yeah, who's driving? Emmett Smith.
Come on, Jerry.
Cool. Still can't do it. Got Egg McMuffin.
I love Egg McMuffins.
For $2. Oh, honey, I gotta go out for a second.
Now at McDonald's, you can convert $2 into 2 hot morning fresh Egg McMuffins or 2 towering tasty Big Macs. But the clock's ticking, so hurry.
Mrs. Football Freak's looking out the window, Jerry. Show me some moves, Emmett. Let's go.
Remember this date, fans. May 2nd, 1939. Lou Gehrig, the Iron Horse, has just taken himself out of the Yankee lineup for the first time in 14 seasons. 2,130 consecutive games. A record that will stand as long as young men play the game of baseball.
Got a car, but need an engine? Then come to Pep Boys, where you'll find a huge selection of over 1,200 quality engines for your car or light truck for as low as $699.99. Import or domestic, all have a 12-month unlimited mileage warranty. And you can charge it with your Pep Boys credit card and pay as little as $35 a month. So come to Pep Boys and drive away happy.
ESPN's presentation of CFA Primetime is brought to you by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth. And by Pep Boys. For quality parts, accessories, and service, come to Pep Boys, America's automotive supercenter. Well, Tennessee called a timeout. It appeared as though that Joey Kent wanted him over on the right side, and he'd lined up on the left. So they didn't want the 5-yard penalty, and thus with the third down, they called a timeout. Pressure coming up the middle, out of the backfield, threw it a little bit quickly to Ronnie Pillow, but he had pressure on him, and Manning had to get rid of it.
Good call by Joe Kynes, defensive coordinator. He brought Randall Godfrey, number 42, his playmaker and his All-American linebacker. He forced the play. Peyton Manning looking. There's Randall Godfrey just in his face enough to cause him to throw the ball away.
So Hall to attempt the field goal. It'll be placed down at the 14 for a 24-yard attempt as Tennessee trying to go up by 10. So Tennessee on top now by a count of 20-10. Ready for the Buffs are off and running. Detmer and Troutman lead Colorado against Colorado State. A battle for Rocky Mountain supremacy tonight, right after our game. And that'll be fun out in the Rockies tonight. See if Colorado State can pick up where they left off last year, where they had an extremely good season under their new head coach.
Sonny Lubick, they're going to have to really handle Koy Detmers. He looked very experienced in that first game against Wisconsin.
I thought he would look good, but I was surprised that he looked as accomplished as he did. It looked like he just had been playing right on and had never been redshirted.
I didn't think there'd be a drop-off at all with Cordell Stewart leaving. He's a fine quarterback, but Koy Detmers has been waiting there. He's played. He understands the system. He's ready to go.
Edwards testing out that foot on the sideline. Bobo warming up. As that big kickoff return jumped up and bit Georgia for 3. And they're fortunate it wasn't 7. Juan Daniels, number 12, along with Bryce Hunter, the dual safety for the Bulldogs. But both of these guys are capable of doing the same thing. Daniels says, I want it. Bryce Hunter, beg your pardon. And he will come up to the 28-yard line. 23 on the return.
Ron, they're still in this ball game, 10 points down. They still stay with your game plan. Find out exactly what Robert Edwards is going to be able to give you back. He's going to give that offensive team a lift, being on that football field again. But stay with the game plan. Stay with that running attack play action. You remember the first drives, first couple drives, they had good balance between the run and pass.
Edwards, we'll see if he didn't get around the corner quite as fluidly that time. Raymond Austin.
Looking at his injured foot, left foot, looks like he's limping a little bit. Robert Edwards has the corner, but Raymond Austin, number 28, free safety, a really aggressive free safety, is able to come up and make that play, save it to about a 3-yard gain.
Bobo in the flat has it complete. Bryce Hunter, and a flag has gone down back at the 25. And Mike, that's normally where offensive holding is called.
You're exactly right, Ron, but it's surprising again that as you look at Mike Bobo, a little more confident with Robert Edwards back on the field, but that's again the balance that they want to get. Run, pass for Ray Goff. And after Robert Edwards left in the first half, with 7:46 in the first quarter, they were not able to get any kind of balance.
Dixon has come into the lineup. The new line of scrimmage is back at the 15. So the situation is second down, and they need about 23 yards. Bobo caught from behind and tackled at the 17-yard line by Shane Burton. Mike Tirico, let's check back with you.
Ron, Mitch McDonald's breakaway takes us to Provo. UCLA out of timeouts with their starting quarterback Ryan Feen out with an injury. Have to rush the field goal kicking unit on. Do they beat the clock? Lavelle Edwards said no, but the officials said yes. Bjorn Mertens' 46-yard field goal. Bruins by 3 at the break.
Micah, it's just like when things aren't going right, they don't go right.
No, but you always practice that when you don't have any timeouts. Get your field goal team on. It looked like they got it off in time.
On third down, deep over the middle, got Bryce Hunter, and he breaks a tackle, and he slipped down about 1.5 yards short of picking up the first down.
He was so close to getting that first down. He made a defensive back miss. Corey Gaines, number 30, just slipped down, couldn't hold his footing, and they need to punt the football. Good throw by Mike Bobo. Been impressed with both young quarterbacks tonight. They're putting a lot on him, and their hand on both of them. Leonard Little with good pressure on Mike Bobo.
That's Langley to punt it away for Georgia.
First down going to be for Georgia. Tennessee had too many men on the field.
Nilo Sylvan from the 16. Good coverage, and that's checked the marker. And Coach Geibert, I think you're exactly right. I think the Volunteers,
it's going to be a first down for Georgia.
They're going to hand them a gift.
Substitution infraction by the defense. 5-yard penalty will make a first down.
So the Georgia offense comes back on the field. Philip Fulmer, I would imagine, steaming underneath that hat a little bit because they've had a little lack of communication tonight.
That's the coaching error that you don't want. I mean, you don't ever want 12 men on a football field and give somebody a Christmas present wrapped up like that one.
Edwards, confusion on that play, and he's going to turn it into something. Tackled at the 44 by Gallion. Leonard Little is the fellow who penetrated and kind of fouled up the play a little bit.
Well, number 47 has the most important left foot in Georgia right now tonight, because everybody wonders if he's going to be healthy enough. Scott Gallion makes the tackle, but you're right, Ron. He made that happen. First of all, it's a botched handoff from the start, but he was able to pick it up. Now the running game opens up the passing game for Mike Bobo. Just the threat of Robert Edwards being on the field.
Draw play to Edwards. He broke the tackle as Brown hitting first, and now here's 1, 2, 3 flags coming down at the 42. Sanders finally stopped him.
Hines Ward going to be called for blocking the back. You can't make those kind of mistakes on the road. They keep penalizing themselves and putting themselves in bad positions offensively.
Blocking the back by the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Still second down.
We didn't have a penalty called until midway of the second quarter, and we've had nothing but penalties in this third quarter.
Well, that goes when you brag on them.
Larry Bowie is the only setback, standing next to Bobo. Tip, and he caught it. Ron Daniels came down with the football.
Ran a ghost switch on the outside. On the outside, Mike Bobo is going to look to his outside receiver, number 12. Juan Daniels running up the sideline. Ball's put right on the money by Mike Bobo, and an excellent catch by Juan Daniels. Took it away from the defensive back.
He did take it away from him. 20-10, Tennessee leads. And we got confusion on this play.
The only one that could have caught that's the official, but Leonard Little caused that whole mess. He is rushing the passer relentlessly, number 1 for Tennessee.
I kind of wanted to start humming the old Supreme song, nowhere to run to, baby, nowhere to hide. Whoa. Second down, line to make, is the 24.
They like Bryce Hunter as the inside receiver on this play, working him against the linebacker.
Gets his pass away, had a man there, Hunter, just as you were talking about.
Just threw it too far, Ron. Had him open on the corner route. Mike Bobo's father's a coach, coached at Thomasville as a head coach, and he moved closer to Athens so he could be closer to his son. Gave up his job, coaching at a smaller school.
And he had a great job down in Georgia, the one that he left.
It was a great one, but he said he wanted to be close to his son.
Third down. He's got it. Matt Dixon caught the pass, and Georgia will move the chains with a gain of 13.
Caught him one-on-one. Matt Dixon with Terry Fair, number 13, just hit him on the short, skinny post. Right in front of Terry Fair. There's going to be a skinny post against Terry Fair. Just right on the break, the ball's thrown by Mike Bobo. Couldn't have thrown it any better and timed better. Big drive for Georgia.
Kirksey gets the handoff, takes it right up the middle. He'll squeeze it for a couple. And Mike, as an old disc jockey, I want to make sure I get this right. I'm standing there thinking, that's not the Supremes. It's Martha and the Vandellas who saying, nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide. Enough already. 20-10. Tennessee leads with 8:40 to play. Third quarter.
Robert Edwards out of the ball game again, Ron, in this late drive here.
Kirksey gets the handoff, and behind just a host of blockers, he takes it inside the 15. Leonard Little is down there on the bottom of that stack. So it's going to be third down, and the Dogs need the 11-yard line to keep it alive.
You're looking upstairs as a coach right now. In that last play, Mike Bobo gave that ball off to the halfback, but he was wide open on a naked. So if somebody up here looks at that, they're going to dial that one up a little bit later where Mike Bobo can come out, make that fake, and come out with the naked play and throw the ball.
Got Hunter, first and goal, Georgia at the 5. Ty Hines will wrap him up.
I know I keep saying it, Ron, but I'll tell you, these two quarterbacks tonight, when you started the ball game, you wondered how much they were going to be able to handle. Hey, they've handled it all. They've attacked this field. It's in their hands now. With Robert Edwards hurt, it's in Mike Bobo's hands, and it's been in Peyton Manning's hands all night. But Mike Bobo has been impressive.
Two sophomores that
they're going to be around for a while.
Yeah, show more than their years as far as poise and experience. Edwards back in the lineup, number 47. Tries to get around the corner, and they will stop him at the 2. That's Raymond Austin, who got out there to make the hit on Robert Edwards.
Raymond Austin is so fast at filling from that free safety spot. He's an aggressive free safety, the junior.
He had 9 tackles last week to lead this ball club.
And you wonder if Robert Edwards is healthy here if he gets the corner turn, but Raymond Austin will not allow him to turn that corner.
Looked as though he was galloping a little bit, and that gait was very smooth when he was healthy in the first half. Edwards skyward, touchdown Bulldogs.
Just his presence on the field helps that entire football team of Ray Goff. They're excited on the sidelines. They know that he gives you a chance on offense to make the plays. Gutty effort by Robert Edwards.
Good blocking by David Weeks and Paul Taylor up front. And just like that, with just over 7 minutes to play in the third quarter, Georgia right back in this one. Langley to attempt the extra point with the injured Parkman. And he got it. So as we head to break, one more look at the touchdown by Robert Edwards. It is Tennessee 20 and the Georgia Bulldogs 17.
State Farm presents the rules of the game.
We're talking about fumbles. In this play, the defense recovers and advances a fumble. Is this legal?
As soon as a State Farm customer calls with a claim, I'm right on the phone to our claims center.
We work as partners. Nancy gives me the information, then I contact our customer.
We've settled hundreds of claims together. John's attitude is...
You got to be quick, and you've got to be fair.
Quick and fair.
At State Farm, teamwork is what it's all about.
We make a great team.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We're talking about fumbles. In this play, the offense loses the ball. The defense recovers and advances. This is perfectly legal.
Rules of the Game has been brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'd have to say Larry is my best friend. The guy is a maniac for sports. He loves to play football. That's his sport, and he's the boss.
And he'll never, ever leave a game early.
What is this, the Arctic Bowl?
He's rolling out the tarp with him.
Larry!
But all my life, Larry's always done me big favors.
Mike, Diane, Mike.
Hi. Very big favors.
Yes. Cheers, buddy.
When you're with a friend as good as Larry, shouldn't you have a Heineken?
The Horned Frogs are coming off their best season in years. Next Thursday, they'll go to Lawrence to take on the Kansas Jayhawks. TCU versus Kansas. Thursday night CFA at 8 on ESPN.
13 plays, 72 yards, 6 minutes and 11 seconds. And Robert Edwards takes it in for the touchdown.
Ron, Tennessee gift-wrapped him a play when they got that 12 men on the field call because that kept that drive alive.
Now this is Langley kicking off because of the injury department. He did not get it deep enough to go in the end zone, and Sylvan got a return last time, and he's going to try again. Better job by Georgia on that return, but 28 yards on the return. Mike Adamle, let's check in with you.
Well, another word on Mike Bobo. Remember last year, the Georgia games, we covered how tough and how resilient Eric Zeier was, how he'd get up, dust himself off, and come back. Well, Mike Bobo has those same kind of characteristics. He's taken some tremendous shots from Shane Burton, Leonard Little, and company, and he gets right back up. He's every bit as competitive as Eric Zeier.
He learned from the master, Mike Adamle, because Eric Zeier, I tell you, he played him every play the same way.
Pass out of the backfield, tipped, and it will go incomplete. His Horn turned around and tried to make the reception. He was tipped by who else? Godfrey.
Randall Godfrey wasn't faked out by the play action, was able to stretch out and get his hands on that football.
You know, the story in Georgia is, as you look at it one more time, is that Vinny Testaverde had a different kind of illness. He had a Xyrus. Swings it out of the backfield. And Levine is going to take it up to the 36-yard line. Greg Bright makes the stop on him.
Last year, this Georgia defensive football team stayed on the field too long. As you talked about earlier, Ron, that the two things they wanted to improve this year was their defense against the run, and they wanted to run the football better. And I think they've accomplished that here in the early dawn of the season. It's a better Georgia football team. This man has helped Joe Kynes. He's brought a little bit of a confidence, a confident air to this football team, not just the defense. They want that call again. They're going to get it. Ray Goff got this call, Ron. He yelled at the referee because, again, they had 12 men in the huddle, and a guy come out late. You cannot do that. Phil Fulmer's upset on the other side. Got Billy Martin and Earl Weaver here tonight.
Substitution infraction against the offense, 5 yards, still third down.
That rule went in, what, 2 or 3 years ago for clubs that were you were accused of doing that from time to time.
No, never.
Breaking 12 from the huddle, and then one would head off the field.
You know, defenses can't find who's in there because most defenses align to a certain formation. And if you show them a couple wide receivers, they think they're going to be in that coverage, and then all of a sudden somebody runs off late to confuse the defense.
Manning sacked back at the 15-yard line. Frank Watts, first time they've gotten to him tonight, but what a big play right here for Georgia.
Ron, credit Joe Kynes again. I want to keep talking about him, but remember early in the game, he was rotating 10 people at defensive linemen. They're fresh right now. Frank Watts just came off the mark and beat that block and sacked Peyton Manning. So the substitution plan has helped this Georgia defense.
That's a loss of 14 yards, so Georgia stands to get very good field position. Binion to kick it away, and Chris McCraney, who had a 41-yard return last week against South Carolina, is the man who's back to receive it. And he's going to get one on this one. So let's take a break. 5:29 left in the third quarter. Tennessee 20, Georgia 17.
Maybe you shouldn't watch this.
Oh, man, get off me. Y'all been nosy now.
But if you're not afraid, call this number now to get into pro football's private world with this exclusive new video, Total Access 95. Plus, you'll also catch this super Spalding football, both free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. With Total Access, you go wherever you want.
Going into every room with a camera.
You'll hear things you shouldn't.
This movie is rated R.
No, you're wrong.
Adult language.
Gotcha, dang it.
Doggone it.
You'll know when things go wrong.
We need another receiver.
Oh, boy.
But that ain't my fault, Coach.
Oh, man.
You'll have total access and a regulation-sized football. Free when you order 54 issues for only $1.47 an issue. Save over 50% off the cover price. Use your credit card. Call now to get total access and your Spalding football, both free from SI. There is nothing in the world like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
For the 1,000th time, it's your job to pick up your Blonsky out of the back middle. And if you walk through the top, you have to go back home to Mommy and Daddy.
Gee, I bet this is a different guy than you met during the recruiting process, huh?
Nick Price capped off a record-breaking 1994 with his 6th win of the year right here at Glen Abbey. He birdied 18 today, and he's one of 5 golfers within 5 shots of the lead starting Sunday's final round. I'm Jim Kelly. Join us at 4 o'clock Eastern Time Sunday for the National Championship.
Georgia has pulled back to within 3. Coy Detmer and Ralphie are on a rampage. There'll be a rumble in the Rockies tonight, 9:45. Colorado and Colorado State vying for bragging rights coming up next. Boulder, Colorado. Right after this one. Crowd trying to get aroused here and help this Tennessee defense. Edwards sweeps the right. Has 5, has 10. Counted off at 11 yards as Corey Gaines will put the stopper on him.
Confidence just rises in this Georgia football team when 47. Robert Edwards is on the field. Bill Lewis gave me a statistic up here. Since 1971, Georgia is 27, 43, and 3. Not very good when their passing total exceeds their rushing total. Georgia wants to become a running football team again.
Well, in this conference, you better be able to run the football or you don't get very far.
You better run it and stop the run.
Edwards on the cutback. Free at the 30 and goes down at the 23-yard line. Mike, was he tackled or did he go down because of that injury? 25 yards in the play and he is still down.
Such a great effort by Robert Edwards tonight. Playing hurt here in the second half. There's just no replacement for him right now of his caliber, even close for the Georgia offensive football team. See him turn the corner, Ron. I think you're right, Ron. He just went down.
Wow, which means that he probably injured it a little more. But you can see the pain gets him. He's kind of in a different gait right here, and just as he makes that cut right there.
You know what's important? He doesn't look like he's moving fast, but Deron Jenkins came up, and his angle was wrong because Robert Edwards just kind of left him. The statistics, 15 rushes, 155 yards, and when he's not in there, they can't run the football. Then it all goes on Mike Bobo's back.
It really does. Torin Kirksey, a freshman out of Jacksonville, Florida, comes in. There he is, number 20.
The Georgia fans have a fine-looking tailback for a while. We've had some great ones down there.
Boley out front blocking. Gets his block, and Kirksey just tripped up. Gallion got enough of his ankle to knock him off balance.
I've talked about this all night, but when he's not in the field, Tennessee plays differently on defense because the threat's gone. Now, obviously, Torin Kirksey's a very good tailback, but he's not Robert Edwards. And when Robert Edwards is not on that field, that Tennessee defense gains some confidence also, does a little bit different, challenges that Georgia offense a little bit more.
Randall Godfrey, always the team guy. He cares tremendously. He's back checking on the wounded tailback. Bobo for the end zone, and it's caught for the touchdown, Ron Daniels. $17 yards.
And what was impressive about that play, Ron, is Mike Bobo was looking to the front side. He was trying to work his tight end and his back in the flat. He came off of a late, found Ron Daniels, put it right there where Ron Daniels made a great catch on this Georgia football team. Is an improved football team from last year.
Langley with the kick. It's good. And now here comes a late marker in. It's going to be procedure called against Georgia. What is so important right here is Langley is an accomplished kicker, but Parkman is a man who normally handles this. And because of the injury to his knee, now they move him back another 5 yards and make him try it again. Under this kind of pressure, makes it a lot more difficult.
Illegal procedure against the offense, using a spot to mark where he kicked from. Repeating, extra point.
Ron Wayne McDuffie and Greg Davis, the the offensive coordinator and the quarterback coach, they coach quarterbacks as well as anybody in the country. You lose Eric Zier, and Mike Bobo comes right in here and doesn't miss a beat.
Langley doesn't either. He knocks it downtown, and there's a timeout on the field with 4:14 left to play in the third. We'll hold it right here as Georgia has gone back on top.
Mike Bobo, you see, was looking to the right side. This comes out like a ducko, but it gets to where it's going to Juan Daniels. Now, Juan Daniels was looking at his route against Terry Fair, number 13. Skinny post again. What I mean by that, he breaks it right to the goal post. Juan Daniels leaps in the air, looks that football into his hands, and Georgia's got the lead.
Mike, last week, in that opening ball game, Terry Fair had an interception, and I think he mistimed his jump there. He thought he could come down with another one.
You're right. He was inside, mistimed his jump, and the result is 7 points. We talked about the Tennessee offensive line. Give credit to Georgia's offensive line, too. They've done a nice job protecting Mike Bobo.
Yeah, they really have. They really have. 4 plays, 59 yards, a minute and 15 seconds. That's what Georgia needed.
We talk about answering the score. Peyton Manning's up to that challenge. His Tennessee offense hasn't had a real clean second half offensively yet.
But it got off to a rocky start. They had the long return, and then they had to call the timeout because they were lined up wrong. I'm going to bring this one out. Milo Sylvan. And Mike Tirico, let's check in with you.
Ron, as we see this great SEC conference game, Auburn continues its non-conference dominance of 1AA. Tennessee Chattanooga. Look at that hit by Scott Stacy, drilling Jeff Peters. The next play, Auburn blocks the UTC punt. Auburn has 4 home conference games. They play UTC, Northeast Louisiana, Western Michigan at home. They can make some money.
Terry explained that last year about, they said, well, we got an 85,000 seat stadium, and I don't care who fusses about it. We're going to get the W, and we're going to make a lot of money.
They get a lot of money, and they're going to get a lot of first downs, too.
Manning all day. Has it complete. Wow. There's your hit of the night. Good heavens, Godfrey just unloaded on Marcus Nash.
That's what you expect your great players to do. Make plays like that to ignite your defense. Randall Godfrey on Marcus Nash, number 12.
Hard to believe it. Marcus held on to it. Good job by him. Sophomore out of Tulsa. Running play for 6, 7, close to 8. Armin Love on the stop, but Graham will have the first down. And Tennessee will move the chain.
This substitution plan of Georgia on defense and what they're trying to do on offense. Last week, Georgia trailed South Carolina 17-7 in the third quarter and just took over the game in the second half. They trailed here 20-10 and look like they're getting a second breath here also. Good substitution plan by Ray Goff.
Graham, good cutback. 5, 10, 15. Counted off with 22 yards on the run. Corey Johnson made the stop. Armin Love also helped out.
One of Steve Marshall's offensive linemen, Trey Peterson, number 73, came off the mark and had a good block.
Now they're going to say officially 22 yards on that carry.
Going to turn into a game of running the football all around, as we talked about earlier. The team that can be successful running the football.
Tennessee got a late substitution Robert Poole, I believe it was, came sprinting on from the sideline. And then they couldn't get, who was it, Lehman off the field.
By the offensive line, 5 yards. Still first down.
I have a feeling Tennessee is going to work a lot on their offensive substitution this week because they've had to call a couple of timeouts, gotten caught with too many men on the field, the illegal substitution. They move again. Instead of first down at 15, it's going to be first down and 20. Marcus Nash. Marcus has got an excuse. If I'd been hit as hard as he was a moment ago, I'd probably be jumping offside too.
He's having trouble counting to 2, huh?
Boy, talk about a change in momentum. 155 to 37 in total yards, Georgia, second half.
I can explain it. 2 words. Robert Edwards.
That's right. Got him over the middle. Joey Kent, and he is going to have the Tennessee first down. How about that? 21 yards in the pass play.
There's a lot of SEC defensive coordinators going to lose a lot of sleep tonight worrying about how they're going to stop these 2 teams. This play was set up again by Peyton Manning's good fake. Joey Kent, the best receiver on this football team, makes the catch.
You know, Bubba Miller made a good point when I visited with him on Thursday. He said the thing that we have to always be cognizant of, we have so much confidence in Peyton, but he's only an early sophomore. He's still very young.
He's carried the weight of this offensive football team tonight.
Quick out pass. That's Marcus Nash, and they'll wrap him up. Maybe a gain of 1. Buster Owens is there.
Didn't cover the receiver out there. They had an inside technique against him, and Peyton Manning just raises up and throws the football. Peyton Manning's passing chart, he's had a great football game.
We're about to go under 1 minute left in the third quarter. 21 of 29 for Manning. Fake the draw and throw the pass complete at the 16-yard line. Joey Kent again.
When you look at quarterbacks, you look at footwork, you look at arm strength, you look at vision, and one thing that's underrated sometimes is ball handling. This ball handle right here where he faked the ball, held the defensive backs right in check. And that ball handling, a Boomer Esiason type player in the pros who takes a lot of pride in his ball handling. Peyton Manning understands faking the football.
Horn in motion. They throw back over the middle. Got Kent for the touchdown. Jeff Hall tries to keep this extra point string alive. And he's right down the middle.
How many times can you say ball handling, the thing that sets up a good quarterback? Peyton Manning so young yet so experienced. Fakes the sprint draw, turns, gets his feet moved, gets his hips behind him, gets the ball in action, the post route to Joey Kent, completely faked the safety out. There's no underneath help because of the ball fake. Touchdown, Tennessee. What Peyton Manning is saying is, ball's back in your court, Mike Bobo.
For Kent tonight, 5 catches, 102 yards and a touchdown. Graham relaxing on the sideline. 35 seconds left in this third quarter, and it's going to be a busy fourth quarter that follows the script of the first 45 minutes here. Five yards deep in the end zone. He will not return it. Tomorrow it's NFL Game Day beginning at 11:45. A study of Barry Sanders. Just how good is he? Drew Bledsoe and Dan Marino. How do the two quarterbacks stack up? The Broncos' Shannon Sharp gets grilled by Sterling Sharp. NFL Game Day on Sunday, 11:45 a.m. sharp. Not many folks are sitting at this stadium right now. 96,000 as Edwards is up even. Probably that ankle. He wants to get a better vantage point and see what happens by his Georgia teammate. Kurtzy, good heavens, what a hit. Oh my goodness. I believe Gallion is the man who hit him first, and he really rocked him back.
Scott Gallion, in a conversation I had with him yesterday in the dormitory, he was talking about how 90% of the players stayed here this summer, worked out, and they had a chance to visit and talk about goals, and he said they really became close in the summer.
That's going to be the final play of the third quarter, and they are standing and cheering here in Knoxville. That's the end of the third quarter with our score. Tennessee 27, Georgia 24.
Dad?
Yeah?
There's something I want to tell you.
What is it, son?
Well, Dad, you're my dad. And I love you, man.
You're not getting my Bud Light, Johnny.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Ray, forget it, Johnny.
This part of the brain controls the subject's emotions.
Hey, get off my lawn!
This part controls hunger.
Hey, you gonna eat that?
This controls sexual impulses. This controls rational thought.
Why would I buy a 32-bit system for $300 when I can get a 64-bit Jaguar system for $149?
Atari Jaguar 64-bit, $149.
Knock it off!
Well, looks like his cereal left him flat. Of course, theirs didn't. So what's your excuse? Hey, pick up the broken pieces of your life and move on. Look, there's hope. Here, try this, see? Kellogg's low-fat granola's got big clumps of rolled oats, brown sugar, sweet raisins, and almonds, not flat little flakes. So you get a taste that's anything but flat. So, hey, wake up, get with it, like they did. Try something that won't leave you flat. Kellogg's low-fat granola, now with even more raisins. And hurry, we can't take much more of this.
All right, gentlemen. Tomorrow, your butts are mine. Lights out.
Man, I'm hungry. Russell Athletic Wear is made to handle the toughest situations on and off the field.
Hot dog. French fry. Hamburger. Tacos. Tacos grande. Pizza.
Coach?
Going somewhere, ladies. Hard work. Dedication. Commitment.
Get Russell Athletic. Get tough.
Get up there, Lord, but go, go.
Emma, seems like we've known each other forever.
Yeah, I know. 2 weeks.
Will you marry me? 'Cause Emma, I love you, man.
Oh, Johnny, you're not getting my Bud Light.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down,
Johnny?
make it a Bud Light.
Jane?
It's Joan.
Jane, Joan, whatever. I feel like I've known you forever.
27-24, the Volunteers on top of Georgia in the seesaw battle. Well, there's Parkman, injured his kicking leg in that first half. You see he's got his shoulder pads off. Bobo fumbled after a moment. Pass is thrown, almost intercepted by Terry Fair. Mac Adamley, let's check with you.
Well, Ron and Mike, personally, I think Robert Edwards is done for the night. He re-aggravated the sprained left foot in that last running play that sent him to the sidelines. He's been sitting an awful long time, 3, 4, 5 minutes. He's had it retaped, but the longer he sits, the stiffer he gets. And if he's operating at 7/8 speed or 3/4 speed, he's going to get hurt even worse. So I think he's done.
Mike Bobo. Boy, you wonder with Parkman on the bench, with Robert Edwards on the bench, can Georgia still get it done? Drills it complete across the 35. Hines Ward, and it'll be a first down, Georgia, at the 39-yard line.
Well, they have to switch gears now. They've got to do it through the air. Mike Bobo has to do it. Hines Ward, who came to Georgia as a quarterback, has played running back, wide receiver, a real good athlete.
Did you see Phil Fulmer just before that play? Tennessee had one too many men on the field, and he sprinted down the sideline, and they were screaming, "Get off, we're not going to get another 12-man penalty." Going to go up on top. Misread here, and a good job at the defensive back as Hunter just got bumped right out of his route.
Trying to go on the post to Bryce Hunter, but I don't think he got there. Number 18, Deron Jenkins, working against him. He just fell down, and so he was not even close to where that ball was thrown. Mike Bobo may have threw it away.
Marseille Simpson, number 43, comes into the backfield for Georgia. Kirksey. I'll tell you what, Mike Gottfried said back in the first half, and we have to reiterate here in the second half as Ray Austin comes up and makes that hit. There have been some real hits on both sides of the football tonight. I mean, some ferocious jobs.
Two good football teams, two well-coached football teams, and two teams playing with great intensity tonight. Raymond Austin, number 28, he brought his entire body on that hit.
Tennessee fans are standing, asking this defense to hold them up. Third down, the line to make is the 49. Bobo got by it. Gonna run, and he'll have the first down.
What more can you ask of two young quarterbacks tonight?
Gaines and Duff combine on the stop.
Ron Green, Steve White pressuring Mike Bobo. Smart decision again. Ball's back there. Nothing's open. Take off and pick up the first down. Know where the chains are. Awareness of the game.
About to go under 13 minutes to play in this ball game. 27-24 Tennessee. And that's Kirksey. Wrapped up nicely by Raymond Austin. And we've got him unofficially for 7 tackles in this ball game.
He comes up quick, Ron. Georgia may want to try to go on top of him, be off of play action, because Raymond Austin, before that running back gets to the corner, he's up there making that tackle. He's coming out of the free safety spot, so you've got to try to slow him down somewhere with a post behind him.
Pressure right up the middle, gets by Little, throws the pass away very wisely, and that's not grounding. Ray Goff comes out on the field to help the officials with the calls, and we had a man close. Bryce Hunter was in the vicinity.
I think it's a good call. I think it was a good move by Mike Bobo.
I do too. Little had a shot at him and made the hit, didn't wrap him up.
Been impressed with Leonard Little tonight. Gives you a good pass rush. They moved him around. Number 1, Leonard Little. They put him down on a tackle. Just beat the block of Troy Stark. So they moved him to end. They put him down on the tackles. They moved him all over the place.
Georgia has just called a timeout. Timeout called by Georgia. So let's take the break with them. Tennessee 27-24. We'll be right back.
There's a place in the Big Apple where New Yorkers rush to be on the cutting edge. It's Jean-Louis David, a touch of Paris right in the middle of Manhattan. So if you're looking for a new you, drop in anytime at any of their locations. You don't need an appointment, just your Visa card. Because when it comes to your hair and Jean-Louis David, American Express just won't cut it. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
I got it. Tap the Rockies. Coors Light. Tap the Rockies. Coors Light. Hey! Coors Light, the silver bullet. It's shipped cold to tap the clean taste of the Rockies. Tap the Rockies. Coors Light.
When Motor Trend magazine pitted the Mazda Millennia against the best of the mid-luxury sports sedans, they had 6 experts evaluate 11 different luxury categories. When it was over, they ranked the Millennia S #1 overall, above BMW, Lexus, Infiniti, even Mercedes-Benz. No wonder when rating bottom line value, Motor Trend puts the Mazda Millennia on top. Now lease a Millennia for as little as $369 a month with 0 down.
ESPN's presentation of CFA Primetime is brought to you by Coors Light. Play timeout for Coors Light in tonight's game for a chance to win great prizes. And by Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. Well, you can see what happened to Robert Edwards on a 25-yard gain. That foot went gimpy on him. And Mike, now we're looking at 3rd and 17. Explain what happened.
Ron, I think they called in the grasp of Mike Bobo. Leonard Little had him. He didn't really take him down, and that's what Ray Goff was arguing about. He said he threw the ball away. It shouldn't have been called.
He's going to go up on top, but he's got a man down there almost and not quite. Matt Dixon got a hand on it, couldn't extend and get a second, and he had a step on the Tennessee defensive back.
Here's the play we're talking about. Leonard Little comes in on the quarterback, Mike Bobo. Now the referee blew the dead at that point. Mike Bobo gets away, threw the ball away, but they called the sack for Leonard Little. So a tough call for Ray Goff.
So it's 4th down. Flag is down, and the punt returned by Sylvan, and an excellent job by Georgia. Very quickly downfield. 42 yards in the kick and a -4 return.
Stop by Terry. There's a marker on the play.
Now let's see where the holding occurred. Appears as though it happened after the ball was punted.
Holding on the receiving team at the line of scrimmage. The penalty is refused. 1st down, Tennessee.
Ready for Coy Detmer and Ralphie on a rampage. There'll be a rumble in the Rockies tonight, 9:45. Colorado and Colorado State vying for bragging rights coming up next. Immediately following our ball game here in Knoxville. We still got a lot of things to settle. Tennessee 27, Georgia 24. Just over 11 minutes left to play. Marcus Nash on the reception. Let's go down to check again with Mike Adamle. Mike?
And Ron and Mike, Tennessee Volunteers ready to deliver the knockout punch with this drive. At least that's the hopes of offensive line coach Steve Marshall. He told his great offensive linemen, those 5 seniors, it's time for you guys to take over. They certainly have that capability.
A lot of great offensive lines in the country this year. Nebraska, Penn State, Tennessee's would have to be considered one. Auburn. Veteran offensive line. This Tennessee is, you might add Florida on that list too. I watched them practice a couple weeks ago. They've got a solid offensive line also.
Well, the record by that man right there, he was the offensive line coach here before moving up to the head coach. He had 17 linemen in 11 years going to the National Football League. Grant tries to get it outside. Very sticky going is Philip Daniels. steps up to make the hit. It's first tackle for him.
He was an outside linebacker. They moved to defensive end. Philip Daniels gives them a good pass rusher off the edge. 6'6", 260.
The 32. It's going to be third down, and Tennessee will need a couple to keep this one going. Ferguson put the stop on Jay Graham.
Offensive line can control the ball game here in the fourth quarter. As Mike Adamle said, that's their plan. David Horn, the tight end, 82, starts this play with a good block on Frank Watts. On a sweep play, you want your tight end to tie that in man up in the line of scrimmage, and David Horn did a nice job. Tennessee wants to score and use clock.
Blitz coming right up the middle. And what a nice play by Greg Bright. He got one hand on his right foot and tripped him up.
And he saved a first down for Tennessee, and he turned this ball over to the Georgia team.
No question.
Can always circle some plays in a ball game. Greg Bright really with a great effort for that defensive play for Georgia.
Larry Binion to get the punt away. McCraney for Georgia. Back is the deep man. Good kick, and he gets it away from McCraney. And this thing is going to go out of bounds just inside the 20. That's a 48-yard effort. Let's take a break. 9:09 to play. Tennessee by
3. It's time to save. Mazda clearance days are here. Lease a Mazda 626 LX sedan now. With a list of standard equipment that's anything but standard. Yours right now for just $235 a month with nothing down. Mazda clearance days. Miss this, and you can miss the chance to get a Mazda 626 for just $235 a month with zero down.
Who's here? Herschel Walker and Tony Dorsett, two of the best college football running backs I ever saw. I'll bet you they're swapping some pretty good football stories.
Next time, I'm telling you, Tony, right profile. Really, Herschel? I've always favored my left, man.
Collect a Burger King Legends of College Football Cup. Free when you upsize your Whopper value meal for just 39 cents.
Touchdown!
You think next time we should wear the helmets? In my case, the helmet is definitely off.
The Horned Frogs are coming off their best season in years. Next Thursday, they'll go to Lawrence to take on the Kansas Jayhawks. TCU versus Kansas. Thursday night CFA at 8 on ESPN.
Off to a good start for our doubleheader and a great second game. Coy Detmer, 3 touchdowns last week. The Buffs of Colorado host Colorado State right after Tennessee and Georgia. Now back to Ron in Knoxville.
Okay, Mike Tirico, thank you. We got a 3-point game here. Is Manning on the phone upstairs again talking with David Cutcliffe, the offensive coordinator, hoping that the defense can put a stopper on Georgia here and they can get one more drive to put some bonus points up there. Hertzy breaks one tackle, won't get out of the grasp with the second, and it's Jonathan Brown who finishes him off.
Look for big plays in the ball game. Remember this play by Greg Bright, linebacker number 45. He's going to take on the block of the fullback, Chester Ford, number 20. Now he's going to come out and just get his hand up and make the tackle on Jay Graham to force Tennessee to punt that football.
Well, particularly if Georgia comes back and wins this football game, you do have to put an asterisk by that one. get the screen pass. Kurtzy, nice move in the open field. He'll have the Georgia first down out at the 23. Shane Burton got him.
We watched Georgia last year in a couple games that you'll remember. The Alabama game where they had Alabama beaten, couldn't just put them away, and the Auburn game last year where they tied Auburn and broke that streak. And so Ray Goff has been in some close ball games, and one day they're going to turn for him.
The first down again, hurdles the tackler, picks up 5, now 6 yards more to the 49. Bear tripped him up.
I'll tell you, just the quarterbacks. What else? I'm not Mike Bobo with good ball handling. The ball out to Larry Boyd. I mean, they have answered the call tonight, both these young quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think you're right on. Kurtzy showing some gutsy running. He's not real big at 6 feet 180. They're very resilient and spun inside that tackle, avoiding a full contact.
Ron, when you lose a player like Robert Edwards, somebody has to pick it up. Mike Bobo's picked it up. But I would expect either Bryce Hunter or Juan Daniels to come up with some kind of big play if Georgia's going to win this football game.
What a hit by Leonard Little. He stepped up and hit Kurtzy just as soon as he got the football.
Looked like he came inside. Big splits again. Leonard Little, number 1, just steps in and steps out. In front of Rusty Beatles, number 70, makes the tackle.
Well, now Little is the man who he dished it out, but he's the man that's down with the injury. Hit so hard he kind of knocked himself out.
He has a new defensive coordinator this year, John Chavis.
So we'll take a break. 7:07 left in the ball game. Tennessee by 3.
Sail through the air. Become one with the wind. Witness the world's most radical sports competition, the Extreme Games. Highlights are now available from ESPN Home Video at Suncoast Motion Picture Company. To get a complete aerobic and muscle-building workout, you could run and lift weights and cycle and climb stairs and lift weights and cycle and lift weights and climb stairs and cycle. Or you could just lay back and relax. Introducing the Soloflex Rocket, a total fitness machine that gives you an aerobic workout and builds muscle at the same time. And you can own it for less than you'd imagine. Call now for a free video and brochure.
Strike 3 call.
Tell you, when these guys meet the Red Sox, people are going to go nuts in this place.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm not going to be one of them. You guys realize that if you combined the salaries of Cone and Sierra, you could pay the entire sanitation department of this town? And by watching this, you just contribute to the idea that you should spend insane amounts of money for something that's essentially nothing.
How much you pay for the water?
$4. What, it's from Norway.
Take a walk, will you, please?
Mike Bobo, what a night he has had, but he certainly would like a touch out of this series we're on right now. And Mike, he's got a 3rd down. The line to make is the Tennessee 41-yard line.
Here's his key receivers, Bryce Hunter, Juan Daniels right here, the 2 inside receivers.
Right over the middle, he's got it. Bryce Hunter, 1st and 10, Georgia. And they're going to spot it just shy of the 35-yard line.
Working against the nickelback, Steve Johnson, number 34, gave him a little shake and bake and broke to the inside. 88. Bryce Hunter, there's the old shake and bake, and now he's got him beat. He's got him on his hip. Steve Johnson, Mike Bobo with the delivery, and now they're 7 out of 13 on 3rd downs.
Takes it to Kirksey. Got it in the flat to Boyd. He'll have another Georgia first down. He'll take it to the 22-yard line. Terry Fair puts the stop on him.
You're seeing the emergence of a star tonight in Mike Bobo, because he has really, once Robert Edwards left the game, it's all on his shoulders. Now, he has responded, as has Peyton Manning on the other side, but you're seeing the making of a very, very good quarterback in Mike Bobo. See his pass chart. There's not many incompletions, not many mistakes in that passing chart for Mike Bobo tonight.
17 of 27, 258 yards. New running back, Odell Collins, a junior out of Jefferson, Georgia, gets the call, and he will take it for a gain of about 4.
It's a bigger back for Georgia. Junior college player that they feel like's not quite ready yet. But they needed to force him into the ball game in this action tonight with Robert Edwards out.
Odell is 6'3", 240 pounds. Again, going to be tripped up by Craig King, and that is an awfully big play, because Georgia is now looking at a 3rd down and about 5.
3rd and 5 now. If you're Mike Bobo, you want to get the first down, but you don't want to make your first mistake tonight and turn this football over, because you've got a possibility of a 3. But Ray Goff's not thinking 3 now. He's thinking victory. He wants 7 on this play.
Remember, it was Tennessee back in the first half in this very area of the field that turned over a ball back to Georgia. It looked like a sure touchdown, if not a field goal. Over the middle, and he dropped it. Threw it just a little bit behind Bryce Hunter. And he knows it. That's the reason he's grabbing his headgear.
Just threw it a little bit too low.
So we're going to have a try for a field goal. And as we had mentioned, Parkman has the injury to his leg, so it's going to be Dax Langley who will attempt a 35-yarder trying to tie this one up. Got the distance, and he has the accuracy, and we are tied with 4:51 left in this ball game.
What a drive by Georgia. Mike Bobo did everything he could ask him to do. The last pass a little low, but he set him up for the game-time field goal. When you talk about fantastic finishers, 4:51 on this clock, Ron. We've got a nice one here.
I also can't mention how much pressure Langley has on him, not being the regular field goal kicker, and he just stepped up like a veteran and knocked it through.
Didn't even appear he was nervous, just booted that thing right down the middle.
Well, the second half numbers, we were talking about Bobo and what he has done. In the first half, Mike, 7 of 12 for 89 yards. But in the second half, 10 of 16, 169 yards and a touchdown.
Ron, my main concern if I was Ray Goff here is I would not kick that ball to Nilo Sylvan unless I kicked it out of the end zone.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Sylvan, as we had mentioned, the national statistical leader and also the SEC leader. And boy, he did just that. He knocked it out of the back. Well, coming up next, right after our ball game, there's more college football when Colorado State meets Colorado. That's next, following this one.
Ron, 2 years ago, Dax Langley was the most recruited kicker in the South out of Heritage High School near Atlanta. You don't think that scholarship paid off?
You could see a little puff go out of his cheeks here, like a sigh of relief when he got that thing to go home and through the uprights to tie it at 27. So the situation, 4 minutes, 51 seconds to play. We're tied at 27. Graham tries tries to cut it back in the middle. Does. Has 5, 7, 8, and now 9 yards. Mike Tirico, let's check with you.
Ron, injury is a factor for Georgia. Injury is a factor for UCLA. No Ryan Feen, no Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They're starting quarterback and tailback. So they go to the trickery, and Derek Ayers scores on the reverse. UCLA leads at BYU by 20.
They always have Tyus Edney out there.
Second down and short. And it's Graham, and he squeezes through an opening. He'll have 6 yards in the new first down. Now, this is the kind of drive that I know that Phil Fulmer would love to have. Just eat the clock up, let there be nothing left. Either get the touch or get the field goal. Graham now 26 carries, 125 yards. He had 144 last week, and that was the most ever by any Tennessee running back in their first start. And that covers some awfully good people. .907 just dropped it.
Timeouts remaining for Tennessee and Georgia. Both have 2. With 3:50 on the clock.
Never saw Bryce Hunter. His pass was a little bit behind him, but he dropped one a moment ago, and now Sylvan has a ball that's in his hands and couldn't come up with it. Corner blitz coming from Georgia. Tennessee picks it up, and the pass incomplete. And it was Marcus Nash that they were trying to get to, and I believe that was tipped by Godfrey.
That's what Randall Godfrey was telling you in your conversation with him yesterday. Joe Kynes isn't going to sit back. He's forcing the action. We're going to throw the first punch. Randall Godfrey, number 43, just starting inside. Now he scrapes down line of scrimmage, reads the eyes of Peyton Manning, got his hand on the football.
Sure did. 7 of 12 on third down conversions, but 0 for their last 3. Joe Kynes almost careful here. Manning avoids the rush, now gets it away, and it is intercepted. Kirby Smart for Georgia, and he will step out of bounds just inside the 40-yard line, and now flags everywhere.
Peyton Manning was sliding to the left, Ron, and just couldn't get enough on the football and put it up for grabs. Kirby Smart with the interception.
After the interception on the run back, a block in the back by the white team. It'll be first down and 10 after the penalty.
So there was youth right there trying to get too much.
Here's Peyton Manning. Pressure by Joe Kynes' defense again. Now he starts to move to the left, but see, couldn't get anything on it, Ron, because he's shuffling over there. He couldn't get his hips into the ball, couldn't follow through. Ball hung up there for Kirby Smart to intercept it. And you're right, that penalty plays a big part, too. The youth of a football team getting that 10-yard penalty, taking them out inside the 40 to back past the 45.
3 minutes and 34 seconds left. You're tied at 27. Kirksey gets the pitch. He'll take it for a couple of tough ones. Leonard Little, undoubtedly the cobwebs are out. He's back in the lineup and makes the stop. Ray Goff, you see his record against Tennessee, 0-4.
I don't buy any of those statistics. I'm going to tell you something. This guy can coach, and he's got a staff that can coach. And anybody wants to criticize him, they're criticizing the wrong guy. This team can coach, and they've got players that believe in this system right now.
Bobo to the pass. Bryce Hunter has it complete. Now, it depends from where that linesman has come down across the way. That's going to be enough for the first down by a half yard.
Extra effort, and we talk about somebody has to step it up with Robert Edwards off the field. Mike Bobo gets a low snap under pressure, delivers that ball to Steve White right in his face. Bryce Hunter makes the catch, then the extra effort to try to get the first down. You would expect that out of Bryce Hunter. He's a senior.
And they say officially it is a first down. Clock runs, 2:39, now 2:38. Tennessee 27 and Georgia 27.
It's been a whale of a football game. These fans have got their money's worth tonight.
Kirksey hit very hard as he tries the left side. It's Gallion along with Tyrone Hines.
John Chavis, the defensive coordinator at Tennessee, he's not going to sit back either now. He's going to blitz his linebacker, Tyrone Hines, number 47, the middle linebacker. Started 8 games last year. He just on a blitz read, made the tackle, and John Chavis said he gave us a boost after the Florida game last year. We started him, and he made a difference in the defense.
Clock is at 1:48, now 1:47. Pass incomplete. Receiver slipped down. That was Juan Daniels, but it was thrown behind him, and it'll stop the clock at 1:39.
Ron, if it comes down to a long field goal, Bill Lewis, the coach at Georgia Tech last year, just handed me this. Dax Langley kicked a 63-yard field goal in high school. It's the all-time record in the state of Georgia. He broke the record of 58 yards held by, guess who? His teammate, Cannon Parker.
I'll tell you what, Mike, if this thing stalls, he's going to have about a 53-yarder to kick here. Third down, line to make is the 26th of Tennessee. Over the middle, Bryce Hunter dropped it. I don't believe he did that. Hit him in the hands and he dropped it, and he had cut in front of the defensive back. Mike, he might have even had big yardage downfield.
Now it's decision time for Ray Goff. You're right. That ball should have been caught. And number 2's coming out.
So let's mark off the 7. It's going to be around 53 yards this attempt to put Georgia on top by a count of 30 to 27.
Well, if he can hit that 60-yarder now that he hit in high school.
Brian Smith is the holder, number 11. Kick is on its way. Does it have the distance? Yes, and it is off to the right and no good.
I like the decision by Ray Goff, but it gives field position to Tennessee, but Ray Goff's going for the victory, so you got to like that out of the Georgia coach. Just off to the right.
Well, Bobo has been super tonight. Let's see if Peyton Manning can bring his club back with 129 left.
He gets another chance, Ron, after that interception.
Swings it out in the flat. That's Graham. Breaks a tackle, and he's up the sideline. Knocked out of bounds around the 35-yard line. Godfrey got him. Don't go away. Tennessee is right back. It's a 28-yard game.
Randall Godfrey had to make this play on Jay Graham. Jay Graham missed, avoided some defensive players. The little swing pass, a good call by David Cutcliffe. Pass now, make somebody miss. Kirby Smart is a miss. Randall Godfrey makes the play, but Tennessee's knocking on the door.
Here they come with a corner blitz again. Tennessee picks it up. Pass is thrown complete. It'll be a gain of 7 yards to Joey Kent. Again, Kirby Smart. Georgia used that to good advantage last week against South Carolina. In fact, Smart got 3 sacks in that ball game coming off the corner.
Expect Joe Kynes to heat him up right here. Jeff Hall, the place kicker for Tennessee, has also hit a couple 62-yarders in high school.
1:16 to play. Tennessee 27. Georgia 27. Well, how many are coming? Everybody. Puts it on top. Just beyond his outstretched hands, looking for Joey Kent. Boy, he laid out for it, didn't he?
Peyton Manning put air under that football for Joey Kent. Bump and run technique. All you can do is throw it to the corner and hope Joey Kent can catch up with it.
Don't forget, kicking off as soon as this ball game is over, Colorado State at Colorado. Third down. Straight up the middle. Has the first down, and he will take it to the 18-yard line as Philip Daniels will trip him up.
Well, lost in this evening is a performance by Jay Graham, also from Tennessee tailback. He's been very steady for this offense. He's running behind Bubba Miller and Trey Peterson here. And now they're set up in that middle of the field with 1:05 left to go on that clock.
Ray Goff looking anxiously at the clock, and here's our situation. 65 seconds left in this ball game.
Can't criticize any call in this ball game.
No.
Both these coaching staffs have coached this game the way you want them to coach it, coaching it to win.
Graham just diving to the 15-yard line. You know what else it is a great promo for, Mike? I ran into a man in the lobby this morning and asked me if I had any tickets, and I told him no, but he said, I live in the Northeast. I've never seen a game down south, and I wanted to come. I've heard so much about this spectacle here in the 96,000, and I'm hoping I'm going to get a ticket. I hope the young man got in the ball game tonight because he may want to come back down and do it again.
Tennessee's now thinking field goal is Jeff Hall, the freshman, and Georgia still has 2 timeouts, so they may try to ice him as the game goes along.
So there's a timeout on the field. 21 seconds left in the game. Tied at 27.
Tending your land, getting your hands back in the soil, working with the sun on your back. Could anything be more rewarding? Yep, paying someone else to do it for you. Like Ned, Joe, and Tom. That's what Visa Gold's for, with enough purchase power to turn your yard green. And what could be more relaxing than mowing it yourself? Paying Al. Visa Gold, it's everywhere you want to be.
When Motor Trend magazine pitted the Mazda Millennia against the best of the mid-luxury sports sedans, they had 6 experts evaluate 11 different luxury categories. When it was over, they ranked the Millennia S #1 overall, above BMW, Lexus, Infiniti, even Mercedes-Benz. No wonder when rating bottom line value, Motor Trend puts the Mazda Millennia on top. Now lease a Millennia for as little as $369 a month with 0 down.
Son, been a long time, Dad. It's been a long trip, son. How about throwing me a cold one?
Just like old times, huh, Dad?
Just like the old days. This isn't a Pepsi.
I know. I saved 9 cents.
Unbelievable. Kid saved a lousy 9 cents.
Tonight's Visa players of the game are from the University of Georgia, Mike Bobo, and from the University of Tennessee, Peyton Manning. As part of their continued effort to further the development of amateur athletics, Visa proud to donate $1,000 to each of these universities and $1,000 to the U.S. Olympic team on behalf of these athletes.
Ron, they're setting it up for Jeff Hall, the red shirt freshman, number 4.
You see Hall, the freshman out of Winchester, Tennessee, pacing on the sideline back and forth. Manning will take it squarely to the middle of the field and go down. So this is going to be an attempt of around 32 or 33 yards by Hall. Mike, if you're Georgia, do you save the timeout, or like in basketball, do you try to ice him?
No, there's no sense in saving it. I don't believe at this point what you do is ice him. He's a redshirt freshman. They can read that media guide. They know he's not been out here before.
Look at Manning talking to him. Graham comes over and talks to him.
Georgia defensive team has come over with Ray Goff and Joe Kynes, trying to figure a way to spring someone up inside. Give him a lot of time to think about this.
At a time like this, most kickers do just what he's doing. He just wants to get away from everybody.
He doesn't have any friends right now, but if he hits it, he'll have about 96,000 to 95,000, and he'll find 1,000 more.
What he's doing right now is visualizing.
Exactly.
Walking away and visualizing. It's going to be a 34-yard attempt. crowd will let you know if it's good. 15 seconds left, trying to put Tennessee on top 30-27. And here we go. Jeff Hall. Well, amidst all the celebration, Tennessee has a player who is down at the 15-yard line. We have 10 seconds left on the clock. Immediately, Ray Goff came out on the field, clapping to his team, saying, we still got one more time left here. We got one more effort left. I believe it's Jeff Smith, the big right guard from Decatur, who has been injured on the play.
Jeff Hall's just become the big man on campus with that kick.
And let's check in with Mike Tirico. Mike?
Well, we've got the biggest thing on the Colorado campus. Ralphie has led the Buffs onto Folsom Field for the first time in '95. They take on Colorado State. They're getting set to kick. We'll get you there as soon as we're done in Knoxville.
Okay. Thank you there. I hope those guys out there are as fortunate as we have been as far as having a good ball game. But Brad and Gary are standing by out at Folsom Field for the matchup between Colorado and Colorado State. Mike, if you kick it, you're going to squib it, right? Try to hit somebody.
And Georgia needs a return. But remember, they're only 3 down, so they got to knock it down the field a ways.
Hall probably won't touch the ground in his run to the ball. He's so excited, and I wouldn't blame him. What an experience for a freshman. Sometimes I wonder if we realize how much pressure a kid just out of high school, even though he's a redshirt, 96,000 fans, and he walks out there and just knocks it home. 5 yards deep in the end zone. Hunter will go on one knee, so the clock doesn't move.
Peyton Manning, I'm not sure he wanted to look, but a happy sideline with 10 seconds to go. Mike Bobo trying to turn it.
Bobo pass over the middle, has it complete to Hunter. He's tackled in the open field, and they call a timeout with 4 ticks left on the clock.
Got time for one Hail Mary.
So let's go up to Folsom Field and check in with Gary Danielson and Brad Nessler. Guys.
Here at Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado. Both clubs are on the field and ready for the Rams of Colorado State to receive. 10th ranked Colorado, their first home game under their new head coach and Rick Neuheisel. Jason Leslie's got it teed up. And Chris Myers and Damon Washington back deep for the Rams of Sonny Lubin. And it's Washington, the freshman, at the 3. Got it out across the 15 to the 16-yard line, and let's head back to Knoxville, Ron.
Okay, Brad, thank you. 4 ticks left on the clock. Tennessee's got players 60 yards downfield. Bobo going to throw it for all he's worth. And it is going to be hit and knocked away, and that's the end of our ball game. Jeff Hall is the big man on campus.